If it hurts, you ain't afraid to go get you, know it up, put on more steam. Protect our kickers, our quarterback, our lead, our ball game. All obstacles, block, cut, sides, do the game, tap, this win it. Press you again, we're here for the first May. Carry my team there 6 minutes.
Rocky Top! You'll always be.
Unbelievable place. Great university. Knoxville's unbelievable city. Great people. The passion for football is even greater than I thought it would be. And man, you know, Neyland Stadium, I said it, you know, a couple of years ago, and I still think it's the best football experience for a college football fan or a player in the country.
Doesn't have to be perfect, ain't gonna be perfect. We go compete for 60 freaking minutes. All right, enjoy the opportunity, enjoy the environment, and then go play our butts off, play for one another, and have a hell of a lot of fun. Everybody got me?
Yes,
all right.
99% of the people in this world want to be great. Would you agree with that? Yeah, they're called wannabes. 1% work to be great. Drop the mic on that.
And yeah, you know, other than that, I think just the fans. I love the fans, the culture here. And yeah, that's pretty much why I chose it.
I'm gonna have to get him to start watching my film in the off season too.
Obviously, I watch Coach Howard's old clips. You know, they got it's kind of like black because they ain't got that. You ain't got
Black and white.
they ain't got the black and white film up, man.
Heart is a balloon, shoots up through the stony ground. There's no room, no space to rent in this town. You're out of luck, and the reason that you had to care, the traffic is stuck, and you're not moving anywhere. You thought you found a friend to take you out of this place, someone you could lend a hand in return for grace. It's a beautiful day. Sky falls, you feel like it's a beautiful day. So let it get away. You're on the road. You've got no destination, you're in the mud, in the maze of her imagination. Your love this time, even if that doesn't ring true. You've been all over, and it's been all over you. It's a beautiful day, so let it get away. It's a beautiful day.
Until August got injured, I'd never heard of the Fisher House. It made it very easy to be there to support my brother.
August had 20 surgeries. I don't know how my family all could have converged without the Fisher House. It provided a shelter.
Family's the only thing you have, really. Them being there for me when I needed them to be, it's irreplaceable.
Good Wednesday evening. Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Hope you guys are ready. Hope you guys are ready for a good night, man. We got a jam packed show tonight. This is the most important show we do all year long. So I hope you guys show up, show out, show love. Do me a favor right now and share it out. Get it out on Twitter, get it out on Instagram, get it on Facebook. Call Tom. Does Tom still have MySpace? Get on MySpace. Let Tom know we're live. Snapchat, Backstrap, all that stuff. I don't know what all the kids do these days, but this is a big one. This is important. This is where we give back to the men and women that served in our military, man. They are the reason that we're here right now. They are the reason that I have an opportunity to sit and yell into a microphone about college football. I want to put you guys on blast right out of the gate. You guys in the chat, the men and the women, if you served in our military, I want you to put it in the chat right now. Put what branch, if you did any tours, let us know. We are doing this for you guys. I know you guys got a couple of questions right out of the gate. I saw some of them this week as we were promoting the show. You guys were asking, is YouTube taking any money of this? How much money is YouTube? YouTube takes nothing. You can see there on the screen, it is a charity stream. YouTube gets nothing. I get nothing. Everybody coming on this show gets nothing. 100% goes to the Fisher House Foundation. So don't you worry about that. Also, if you're watching this on the rewind, the rewatch, you guys can still donate. Going to leave that donation button open all week long. So you guys come in, get in where you fit in. The goal's 5,000. Why not hit 10? Why not hit 20? We're already at getting close to $1,400 already. We just went live. I know some of you guys probably have some questions about the charity, so that's how we're going to open this thing up. But then after that, we got, again, a jam-packed show. Volquest is in the house. Jason Swain, Ben McKee are going to be here. We've also got Pancakes and Bacon, Reed Bacon, Kyler Curvison going to be in the house. AtoZ Sports, Sports Talk Jay, and then your Talkin VAWLS family is going to be right here to take you home. Do we stay live all night? I don't know. It depends on what you guys do. But let's get into it. Let's talk about it. We got a special guest, Brian Gaughan, the VP of Community Relations at the Fisher House Foundation. My friend, thank you for coming on with us tonight.
Hey, Boogie, thanks for giving me the opportunity to tell folks about Fisher House.
Let's actually start with you. I want to get into Fisher House, what you guys are all about. But I was reading your bio before we jumped on, and then you were giving me a little bit of your background before we went live. 28 years of service in the Navy. So first and foremost, thank you for your service. But also, as a guy that served this country, what kind of led you to give back in this way with Fisher House Foundation?
28 years of serving, and the men and women that I served with were amazing. I did 28 years in the Navy, most of that flying in the backseat of F-14 Tomcats. Was commanding officer of a squadron during 9/11. Our squadron led some of the first strikes into Afghanistan. And when there were problems, one of their wives got sick, or their spouse, or their kids, are in an accident, or, one of your sailors is in the hospital for one reason or another, car accident, you name it. That family to be by their side, one of the things you're worried about it, guys can't concentrate on the work that they're worried about their family. And having a place where a family can stay while their loved one's in the hospital, where they can be there by their side to give them something to recover for, to cheer them on. And, not just our active duty members, but our veterans who served and gave so much, for their families to be there. For some of them, that's their last ride. And to show them the neat thing about these houses, families of service members or veterans can stay for free while their loved ones being treated at a VA or a military hospital. And that way, they don't have to worry about where we're going to stay, how are we going to pay for it. They can just concentrate on helping their loved one get better.
We're up to $1,500 already, guys. Put on more steam. That's what we do around here. The general would tell us to put on more steam, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to hit that goal of $5,000. We were kind of laughing before we went live because I've been describing to you guys in the chat that the Fisher House Foundation is like a Ronald McDonald House for our veterans, and Brian said that's spot on. He's like, we probably owe them a little money because of that. And what Fisher House Foundation does, what's on your all's website, builds comfort homes where military and veteran families can stay free of charge while a loved one is in the hospital. Your website says 96 houses in operation, 500,000 families served, $610 million in savings for those families, and over 12 million days of lodging. So again, kind of just break down give me kind of the process, what it looks like as a man or a woman that served this country, what their family, kind of what the rewards are from this program.
Well, first off, I will say that those houses, and we have one in Tennessee right now at the VA hospital in Murfreesboro. I'd known about Fisher House and this concept that there's these homes where families could stay. And someone said, hey, they're really nice. I said, okay, great. They're really nice. And when I got hired on and I actually got to go into a Fisher House, I was like, oh my God, these are really nice. I mean, I worked at Fisher House for 3 years before I let my wife inside because I thought it was costing me a kitchen remodel. But basically, and it's not a hotel, it's a home. Our founder wanted people to feel like they were staying in his house. And his name was Zachary Fisher, and he was a millionaire. He wanted it to be really nice. And his reason for that was he wanted them to see how much the American public appreciated their sacrifices. Every bedroom, every family gets their own bedroom that has their own bath that's accessible, beautiful state-of-the-art kitchen with multiple fridges, multiple stoves so that the families can cook together, common dining room, 2 beautiful living rooms, and ideally they're built on the military base, right next to the military hospital, or on the VA campus, right next to there, so the families are only steps away from their loved one in the hospital.
Let me take a look at the chat here. Unfortunately, I know you guys that hang around the Talkin VAWLS network, you like to drop super chats. You like to make funny jokes. You like to insult me. That's the way you guys spend your money, and I'm okay with that. But on a charity stream, it doesn't come through like a super chat, so I can't read it and see it. But I'm going to the YouTube chat, taking a look here. We got an anonymous donation of $20, an anonymous donation for another $20. A lot of anonymous donations come in, and I appreciate that. Coach Rice donated $20. Shout out to Coach Rice, a co-host of this show. He'll be coming on around 9 o'clock tonight. Roger Campbell donated $20. AGR 270 for $5. Papa J donated $20. Let me scroll on down here. Matt Begley donated $20. Matt's also going to be coming on in a little bit. A couple of $20 donations. Jackie Pickle, longtime listener, big supporter of the channel, drops $100. Appreciate that, Jackie. Rocky Top Tom drops $20. Vol Fan 25 donates $5. We got an anonymous donation for $100. Another couple anonymous for $5. For $50. Brad donates $20. You guys keep those coming in. We're over $1,700, and we are just now getting started. Jam-packed guest list coming up. We're going to talk all things Tennessee football. A lot of people want to know, Brian. A lot of people ask, anytime you donate to a charity, well, where does this money go? Who takes this money? How does that work at Fisher House?
For us, 96 cents on every dollar goes to program. It goes to building those houses. We have some other programs. We have scholarship programs for military children. So if you're the child of an active duty retired service member, you could apply for our scholarship. Last year, we gave over $1 million in scholarships to military children. We also have a scholarship for children of those service members who died in service or are 100% disabled from their service, have a 100% disability rating from the VA. We gave over $1.5 million in scholarships last year for that program. We also have a program where people can donate their frequent flyer miles to us from the major airlines, and then we'll use those to get families sometimes to the bedside of wounded, injured, and ill service members when there's unique cases. And lastly, we have a partnership with some of the major hotel chains like Marriott, where people can donate their hotel reward points. And then if a Fisher House is full, we can put the family up at a nearby hospital, so they're still, or nearby hotel, so they're still supposed to close to their loved one.
Let me ask you one last question, and then we'll get you out the door. And then we're going to talk a whole lot of Tennessee football, but we're going to keep in mind why we're doing this tonight. I don't want you guys to forget what this is all about. Give me one story that sticks out to you. Just maybe a personal experience, a friend, a relative, somebody just a story that sticks out with Fisher House that I think when it gets personal, people kind of open their eyes a little bit.
There was a soldier who was injured by an IED. He's from Tennessee, as a matter of fact, and lost both his legs. His arm was badly injured. He had a young wife and 2 young girls, and he was in the hospital in Washington, D.C. at Army Walter Reed, and his wife was trying to think, okay, how can I be by my husband's bedside, help him recover? He's lost his legs, and yet how can I give my girl some normalcy, First off, she didn't know where she was going to stay. She gets there, finds out about the Fisher House. So she's there, right? Be able to go see him every day. And, but they talked about it and said, how are we going to do this? Give the girls some stability. And they said, well, we'll use our savings. I have to be by here. I'll fly back. I'll come out for like a week or 2, and then I'll fly back to Tennessee. We'll use our money. And then someone said, Fisher House has this Hero Miles program where we can help you fly back and forth. So they did that. And when it was finally time, he had gotten his prosthesis and legs, was going to walk. They were going to bring the girls out so they could see their dad for the first time. And he wanted to do that not in the hospital, but he wanted to do it in the Fisher House so that it was a home environment. And so they did. He went to the house. The first time they saw their dad, his artificial legs was in the Fisher House. And so that kind of broke the ice. And they would go over to the hospital sometimes to do PT with him and all that, but they knew where their dad was. It's just such a blessing in that family. Later on, years later, those girls got scholarships from our programs, and they're amazing young women. That family is just really, really, that touched my heart to know that we're doing something like that, and there's stories like that every day. And folks like your watchers, your viewers, folks tuning in your stream, they're a part of that right now. They're helping somebody somewhere. And it could be a 90-year-old World War II veteran in the hospital making his last ride. It could be a 19-year-old veteran, or a 19-year-old service member injured in a car accident. It could be a military spouse with breast cancer. It could be, you name it. We're there for them with the help of folks like you.
Well, we appreciate you coming on, Brian. I appreciate what you do. I'm grateful for your service, and then not only that you serve, but then that you continue to give back. And, that's what it's all about. Talked a little bit about my personal situation, my family, everybody in my family that serves. So I'm grateful. I promise you, we are at $2,000 right now, $1,900 right now. We got a saying around here in Knoxville, and that is put on more steam. We're going to put on more steam. We're going to get 5,000. We're going to get more, and I'm committed, man. I made the decision last year. We're going to do this every single year. We got the guys from Volquest coming up next. Go Vols 247. Jason Swain, former Tennessee player. AtoZ Sports. All the guys in the Tennessee media come together on this platform for this cause. So we're going to do this every single year. I appreciate your time, Brian. Thanks for coming on, my man.
Go Vols. Go Navy. Beat Army.
Have a good night, buddy.
Take care.
All right, let's have some fun. Let's talk some Tennessee football, shall we? Shall we talk a little Tennessee football? I feel like I should play a certain clip before this next guy comes on, but I'm not, because this is not Locked On Talkin VAWLS. This is Talkin VAWLS and Friends. But let me catch up with you guys in the chat. Jason with a $5 donation. Marcus Rush drops 20. We got an Anonymous for 15. Ricky D for 25. Andrew Fielding for 20. Caleb Calhoun's Bangs donates 20. Gary Harper donates 20. We got an Anonymous donation for 50. Chuck Manus. Oh, hold on. It updated. Let me go back up. Gary Harper for 20, an Anonymous. Chuck Maines for 20. Appreciate that, Chuck. Let's see. We got Cody Silvers for 10, an Anonymous for a hundo, man. A hundo. You guys being very generous. We're across $2,000. Put on more steam. Let's get into it. Let's have some fun with Eric Kane and Matt Ray from Volquest.com. What is going on, fellas?
What's up, man?
What's up, buddy?
The guy with the best hair in the business and the guy that's coming for AP's throne. I'll let you guys decide who is who. How you guys doing? Man, I appreciate you guys coming on. I know I put Kaner to work. I was like, go get me Matt Ray. I don't want Austin Price. I want Matt Ray.
It wasn't too hard, really. It was a text. Hey, you want to do this?
Did he ask you, or did he tell? Did he ask you, or did he tell you?
I think he just asked availability if I had anything going on that day, right?
I just had to make sure that he was free, and then I kind of made his plans for him. Listen, Matt Ray is the biggest rising star in the business right now. The popular, I joke with him all the time. Like in politics, you have approval ratings, right? On Volquest, me and Rob would be down there like in the 20s. Grant would be up there. AP's at 99.9. Man, Matt Ray's like at 93 right now. So like he is coming, and he's a really popular guy nowadays. So had to make sure he was available. Then I told him we were coming here.
Let's be fair though. I tell you all the time, Kaner, you got screwed. AP harasses you. Matt Ray walks in the door. Day one, AP goes to the GQ.
My favorite thing about his little introduction was, man, he's so hardworking. He loves it. Reminds me a lot about myself. And I'm just like, good Lord, is that the most Austin Price thing I've ever heard in my life?
It's a beautiful thing. I'm glad to have you guys here, obviously from Volquest.com. Also, Kaner over at Locked On Vols. New episodes every Monday through Friday. Let's get into it. Let's talk a little bit of Tennessee football. That's what we're here to do. We're going to raise some money while we do that. A lot of positive momentum right now, right? I mean, Lance Hurd jumps in the boat. Jackson Moy as a guy that I like a lot. And then George McIntyre makes it official, blows up Vol Nation. We're excited. The momentum, the train is rolling. Kaner, how big is that GMAC commitment? And what does it mean for this program as a whole moving forward? Because I saw somebody, I don't remember if I saw it on Twitter, the GQ, wherever I saw it, somebody said that window of opportunity just went from 2 years to 4 years. And I like the way they phrase that. A lot of positivity. What do you think that George McIntyre commitment means, Kaner?
Yeah, I'll let Matt get down to the nitty gritty of the the prospects and recruiting and all that. But like for the program, I think it's huge. I mean, you're talking about an in-state blue chip quarterback, and Tennessee's missed out on Ty Simpson of late, right? And that was right when Josh Heupel got here. It was a transition, and he really didn't have an opportunity. Jeremy Pruitt probably could have pulled him here. Might not have been legal, but nonetheless. But for you to be the real deal and for your program to continue to ascend to where it needs to be, you got to get those guys. And George McIntyre, he was coming here before Nick Saban retired. Okay, you could tell that by his commitment video. It's a calling, right? And I think it's huge because you're right. You and I talk about that window a lot. In 12-team playoff, 24-25. You're kind of in the same situation now, depending on what Jake Merklinger does, if he progresses, if he takes up and takes that job, if he leaves, whatever, to where you're a freshman, Nico's a junior, potentially you're here for 1 year, holding the clipboard, learning, then you can step in and go. So I love it. It just shows kind of how far this program's come, that you can keep the best players in state. I think he's going to have a monumental, Matt, effect on pulling guys into this class, especially here in state with the Cam Sparks, the Ethan Utleys, and the Jacksons. When you go to West Tennessee, I think it's going to have a huge impact.
Yeah, that's something that AP and I talked a pretty good bit about on Monday and then on the ride home as well. When you look back to Nico, there was an effect there, and you're still seeing that effect with Nico, right? Like you still hear kids talking about Nico. Okay, he started the bowl game, he was sensational, and as I talk to kids in the process, you still hear kids talking about that with Nico. But at the time in that class, it was really hard for Nico. He was recognized. People knew him. But when you look at some of the guys that he really had the best relationship with, like Carnell Tate, who was from the Midwest but was all over the country because he was at IMG and playing different 7-on-7, Kyler Casper, who was from the West Coast. So it was kind of harder for Nico to pull guys with him in that initial class where he committed. He committed still relatively early.
Yeah.
George is committed in January. And George knows the guys in this footprint that Tennessee recruits. George has been on multiple recruiting visits with David Sanders. He's been to Alabama a handful of times with Jamie French. He's been around Caleb Cunningham. He's going to play 7-on-7 with these guys. He's going to see them in regional top tournaments. He's in their ear. He knows the insect guys like you touched on, Kane. Like, he knows Radarius Jackson. They're on the same 7-on-7 team. Him and Cam Sparks are on the same 7-on-7 team. They've known each other forever. He knows Ethan Utley. Like when I reached out to guys on Monday just gauging a reaction, I think Ethan Utley was one of the better reactions that I got, just simply looking at it from a leadership standpoint. He was the one guy that I reached out to on the defensive side of the football. Everybody else on the offensive side of the football does. So to kind of hear his perspective was very interesting. I think the window of opportunity that you talk about is big for Tennessee in terms of stretching forth the longevity, but also here in this initial run, you just landed Lance Hurd in the transfer portal. You brought in Jackson Moy. You landed a really, really good tight end prospect that's going to climb the rankings. I feel very confident in saying that Jack is going to climb the rankings. And then from there, now you have GMAC and you're going into the biggest, months on your recruiting calendar. And he is going to be here at every step. He's going to be here recruiting those guys every time that they're on campus.
Boogie, let me jump in here and just kind of lead the show. You just let me know when the next guest is supposed to be on here. See, Boogie. All right. finally, we got the show that we want. There's I put that article up at Volquest.com about an hour ago, and you were talking about how Nico committed in March. Jake Merklinger last year committed in March, and now GMAC is committing in January. Even when you had to pivot away from Ty Simpson when he went to Bama, and you got Taven Jackson, that was in April, just a couple weeks after that. Point is, Heupel's done such a great job getting his guy early and building around. And plus, how do you build an NFL roster? How do you build a college roster? Quarterback, affecting the quarterback. Look at the successes of the Leos under Josh Heupel. Now, Rodney Garner and all those other guys have a big hand in that as well. But point being, the Josephs, the Pierce, the Jordan Rosses, so on, the Caleb Herrings. That's how you build a winning football team. And I love how that's been the trademark for Heupel so far being here at Tennessee. And Boogie, we talk about it all the time. Yeah, you need to hit on more offensive tackles. You need to hit on more defensive tackles and some guys in the secondary. But that's how you build a winning football program: quarterback and guys to get after the quarterback. And Josh Heupel's done an excellent job. And this one might be the best one simply because it's in January and you have a whole year to build around him.
Yeah, especially that offensive tackle position. And Matt mentioned Sanders, huge, man. That's priority number one for me moving forward. You get one of the top offensive tackles. I think on three, you guys got him number one, I think, in the country. But then not only Sanders, but you also got Josh Petty, right? Now you got the kid from New Jersey, which I raise an eyebrow to. Are you seeking a little attention, or is there some serious steam there? Matt, you rattled off a bunch of names, French, and then guys that we've talked about the last couple of days, Cam Sparks and some Cunningham, some of the guys that are involved. That George impact, I'm excited to see. Can they get a top 5 class in 2025? We'll see. But also, Matt, it impacts in-state recruiting. The hometown hero. Did you hear that gorgeous voice? I don't know if you heard that gorgeous voice, Kaner. I don't know if you heard that gorgeous voice in his commitment video that said, the hometown hero. I mean, whoever they got to do that voiceover should be a millionaire, but the bottom line is he is the hometown hero. So, Matt, when we start to look at Tennessee prospects in the class of 25, you got a lot of talent there. Who do you think Tennessee has a realistic shot here with? You mentioned Ethan Utley. We've mentioned Cameron Sparks. Anybody else in state that we need to keep an eye on?
Yeah, I think you have to keep an eye on Rodarius Jackson, right? His first initial ranking here, for on three, when Charles ranked him, he bumped into 253. I was going to say 243 in the industry rating, but a guy in Memphis that had a big season, and man, he is just scratching the surface of his potential. He's close with George. They play on the same 7-on-7 team, and is a guy that can really go get the football. Tennessee, I think when you look at Kelsey Pope and what they did, they swung really hard at Carnell Tate. Obviously, that it was just too hard to overcome, that lifelong want to play for Ohio State and being recruited by Brian Hartline and everything else. But, he bounces back this next cycle and he lands Mike Matthews and Braylon Staley, who I think is going to be really good. But then now you have a chance where you're here in, January, and you've got Jamie French coming to campus in March. You've got Caleb Cunningham coming to campus in March. You've got Cameron Sparks, who's going to be on campus still a lot throughout his process. You've got Jackson. You've got 2 top 300 players at wide receiver in the state. And it just seems like this cycle specifically for Tennessee, they're in on more coveted guys at the receiver position than I can remember. And they've been in on those guys, but this time it seems just more serious. There seems to be a lot more draw. And that was before you add the quarterback to it. That was before you add George McIntyre to it. So now you have the Travis Smith Jr. out of Westlake. You have Phillip Bell. You have Corey Sims from Missouri. All those guys are guys that Tennessee really likes, guys that fit well into their play style. So at that position specifically for me, I do think George will have a big impact with the receivers around him.
You mentioned the Radarius Jackson real quick, and again, we saw his profile over there at On3. Talk about a guy that's going to be coming out of nowhere. Mentioned that industry rankings has him at like 253 or whatever. Guys just stand out in high school football when you're a Power 5 prospect. He won Mr. Football, for Tennessee, that the Titans award for Class 3A this year. Listen to these stats. Just incredible. 1,742 all-purpose yards as a junior, 27 total touchdowns, 40 tackles on defense, 7 interceptions. I mean, the dude is a stud. And again, as Matt just pointed out, I think that's a guy that's really going to be coming out of nowhere in this class and a guy that Tennessee covets.
And he's 6'2", 180.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 6'2", 180, and he's only going to grow. He's only going to improve physically. He's only going to get bigger, faster, stronger.
Let me take care of a little business real quick. The theme of the night, we're here to raise money for the Fisher House Foundation, the Ronald McDonald House for Military Families. We set a goal. I set it probably too low. Last year, we beat Alabama. I was excited. You guys threw so much money at this channel. I said, we're going to raise $10,000. We raised $3,000. So y'all scared me. I said we're going to raise $5,000 this year. We're already getting close to that. Is this the Volquest rub? Y'all going to claim we just hit $3,000? $3,000.
I'm glad you didn't lose money when we came on. That's my biggest thing.
Oh, wait, we just got a refund for $500. It says Kaner's hair annoys me. All right, come on. Let's fix this. All right, Let's run it down here. Brain Chadman donated $20. Mikey McMahon for $20. Jeff Puckett donates a 50 spot. We appreciate that. Chris Murphy donates $20. Sports Talk Jay drops $100. That ain't cheap. Thank you, Jay. He's going to be coming up around 8:45 tonight, so stay tuned for that. John Watts, $250 donation. That is insane. Amber donates $200. You guys, I love you guys. Thank you for showing up, showing out, showing love. That's what Vol Nation does. The X Factor's in the house. He'll be coming up at 9 o'clock. He donates $20. Brian Stedham donates $5. Got a couple of anonymous donations coming in. Christopher Welch donates $20. Dim Barnyard Bills donates $20. Bill Kell for $20. Sling Blade donates $50. Brad Burnett drops $100. Brad never drops anything. He is the cheapest person on the face of God's earth. He dropped $100. I cannot believe it. Wade Rouse drops a 20 spot. We got a couple of more anonymous donations here. Gosh, it keeps updating, and I have to scroll back up. Wade for 20. We got a couple of anonymous donations. Dylan Elam drops 50. Appreciate that, Dylan. Jeff Olson for 20. Another anonymous for 20. Vols fan 83 for 20. And that brings us to $3,125. Guys, put on more steam. Do not stop. We got a couple more questions here with Kaner and Matt Ray from Volquest.com. You guys go check out what they're doing. You guys know I'm basically a commercial for Volquest. It is the place to be if you want that inside information. Let's talk about recruiting again. Class of 25, Kaner. We look at what they've got so far. Where do you think they need to add? And I say all the time, it's not just about high school recruiting anymore. It's roster management. It's recruiting your own guys back. It's the transfer portal. It's high school recruiting. But if you're talking high school kids, class of 25, what positions really stand out to you as a priority for 2025?
Yeah, and I mean, Matt's already thrown a bunch of those names out there. I mean, I got 3 big names. There's several other ones, but you've got to replenish your offensive line, and you've got to replenish your defensive line. What a win for Tennessee this year, maintaining some of those COVID seniors coming back. Amari Thomas is coming back. Omar Norman Lott, Elijah Simmons, Bryson Eason. You add Jackson Smith or Jackson Moy in there, the transfer from Stanford. So you're in good shape, and Moy's going to be here in 25, which is good, but those other guys they're gone. All right. I mean, John Campbell's been literally in college since the Reagan administration. He's gone after next year. Okay. Dane Davis is gone. That's why Lance Hurd was huge. So offensive line, offensive tackle specifically, because you don't have a whole lot of bodies there, and defensive tackle. You like what you got in Leo. You got a bunch of Leos. You got a bunch of, strong side defensive ends, and a guy that I think is going to be a stud for Tennessee is Tyree Weathersby. And he didn't even play this year because he was hurt. So Offensive tackle, defensive tackle, David Sanders, Josh Petty on the offensive side. Ethan Utley's where the conversation starts. Defensive tackle spot, in-state, Innsworth High School. And, of course, Matt already rattled off a bunch of those other names. But tackles, offense and defense is where I would make an absolute priority in the class of 25. And hopefully, GMAC will have some of that pull as well.
Yeah.
And I think a guy that doesn't get enough attention or doesn't get mentioned enough, maybe that's just quietly been to town a handful of times, I think really relates to Tennessee, really relates to Glenn Ellerby, and is probably one of the most physically gifted prospects in this class is Juan Gaston out of Westlake in Georgia. I mean, just a mountain of a human being. 6'7", already 320 plus. Yeah. Dude, he's a monster. And that guy is an athletic freak that can move, can play either tackle, is super athletic in space, dominates on the basketball court. So there's not just a big body that moves around, at a slow pace. He can go. He's kind of tailor-made to Tennessee's offense. So that's a guy that I don't think gets enough attention. Was supposed to be in town last weekend before the junior day got canceled, and I do expect him to get back before the spring.
Let's talk about 2024 and that class of 25. I feel like I had a shift in momentum. I felt like, okay, 2025, that's going to be the year of the Vols. And then the way everything is played out, getting all the COVID guys to come back, Nico taking over, what they've added in the portal. I feel like 24, Tennessee has a chance to make some noise. And I know you pull up their schedule, you look, I think at Oklahoma is kind of going to be that turning point. Do we got a shot here at making that 12-team playoff or not? But I think it's a huge year for Heupel, right? You're going into year 4. Some of your younger guys are now they're upperclassmen. They're juniors. They're the leaders of this football team. I think 2024 is going to be a big, eye-opening experience. Is Josh Heupel the guy, or is he not? There's a lot of pressure on this football team right now. Matt, can they lock down? I don't think Tennessee. I'm going to steal something from a co-host of mine. Coach Jay says all the time, they don't need to lock down a top 5 class every year. He says, give me 3 top 5s or 3 top 10 classes and a top 5 class every 4 years, and I think that's solid for Tennessee. We throw that top 5 phrase around a lot, Matt. Is this the year? Do you think the class of 25, Heupel has a realistic shot at getting that top 5 class?
Yeah, I think a lot of times folks get enamored with a top 5 class, right? I mean, I think a lot of times they do. I think when you look pound for pound at the way they finished in 23 and then in 24, I think both of those classes are really, really good classes, regardless of where they end in whatever industry rankings, ours, 247 rival. It doesn't really matter. I think you have to look pound for pound at where they hit. If they have 20 commitments and Ohio State has 28, you're not going to catch them. I mean, it doesn't matter. And a lot of those things factor in, don't get me wrong. But that said, with this class right now, Tennessee has the potential to make a run at a top 5 class. When you look at the names that they're heavily involved with, you already have, George in the class. He's a 5-star. Once the rankings expand, he's a 5-star on every single side. David Sanders, you're significantly in play there. Juan Gaston, another guy, you're significantly in play there. He's a top 125 guy everywhere. You're in it with Josh Petty. Ethan Utley's a top 50 prospect in the On3 rankings. Cam Sparks is a top 75 guy in the On3 rankings. Radarius Jackson, when you heard everything that Kane rattled off, Radarius Jackson's stock is up. Buy it now. That guy's stock's up. So Tennessee has a chance to make a run, and a lot of that has to do with this time around in state. There is a core of guys that they can build on. That's the key to me. It's really tough to sign a top 5 class if you don't have a really good core in state to build on. And when you look at some of the schools that end up there, Georgia, pound for pound, probably the best state in the country in terms of high school prospects. Florida always has their guys. Texas always has their guys. California has those guys. So Oregon comes down, gets involved there. But Alabama, pound for pound, has improved, and they've done a really good job. Alabama and Auburn both have done a really good job of locking down that state. It's really hard to go into Alabama and get a recruit. I don't know how much people realize that. Like, for Tennessee to go down there and get Jordan Ross, that's a big deal. I mean, it is a big deal, and he's a guy stock up in 2024 class. I don't think he's done rising yet. But yeah, I do think this time around Tennessee has the potential to go after a top 5 class.
And Boogie, back to your original point about, you were saying 25's going to be the year, but the way things have kind of unfolded, it's like 24. Now, again, this is January, and on tomorrow's show, when I talk about the Heisman odds over there at FanDuel Sportsbook and Nico having the 6th highest.
What else you going to talk about?
Yeah, but what I talked about on today's show, for those who listened and for the majority of you guys who didn't, you can go back and listen. I did like a stock report on every single position for Tennessee, and I compared it to who was there in 23. And it's interesting because, you got to go out and prove it, right? Your quarterback's got to hit. But stock up on Nico, right? Because you think that he can do more than what Joe did. So like stock up running backs, maybe a stock down simply because of everything you're losing, but you feel great about the options there. Left tackle, stock up. Right tackle with Campbell, stock up compared to what was there. Linebacker, stock up because you're gonna trade Beasley for Peely, and all those young guys have already played. They're gonna be better. Stock up on the defensive line. It's really interesting to kind of look with what this roster is now, compare it to who was in that position in 23, and kind of see what that roster is. So I think this roster can be better. I think this team can be better. Quarterback's got to hit. We know that. You're not going to win games without a quarterback that can hit, but it's a fun conversation to have in January, and we'll have it again in February and March and April and so on.
That's what we do, right? We sit in front of a microphone and we talk, and we're doing it tonight for a great cause. Guys, I appreciate you coming on. I knew I could put up the bat signal. Everybody rallies around this charity stream, and man, I'm blessed. I'm grateful. I'm thankful that you guys rally to this charity stream. We make a little bit of noise. We raise a little money for the Fisher House Foundation. Right now, we're approaching $4,000 already. I'm telling you guys, we're hitting 5,000 before the end of the night. So, Kaner, Matt, we appreciate you guys coming on. What do you got? Kaner, you can take it for both of you guys. What do you got coming up on Locked On Vols and Volquest?
Yeah, Locked On Vols tomorrow. Talking, we're going to get into the national media kind of coming to bat for Alabama with changing of the transfer portal window and all that because it happened to Alabama. Or was all that for Tennessee a couple years? That happened while I was on vacation, so allow me. I'm going to get to it tomorrow. Plus Nico Heisman odds, but everything over at Volquest.com. We had awesome coverage of Todd Helton's Hall of Fame announcement last night, and Brent Hubbs talked to David Cutcliffe, who real good friends of Todd Helton, was his quarterback's coach, obviously here at Tennessee. Fantastic stuff and tons of recruiting stuff from Matt and AP, and basketball on Saturday. It never slows down over there at VolQuest.com. So thanks for having us on, Boogie. Great work, man. What you do is fantastic. Love the Fisher House Foundation. Everybody watching who's contributed, awesome job. And I'm going to get off right now and make my donation. So enjoy the rest of the show. I
do have to laugh you talking about vacation, because Monday Night Chat, I was sitting in the general's quarters and I looked over at my wife and I was like, I know Kaner's on vacation, but he's in the chat. I'm like, somebody just called him out. Is he going to answer? You start answering questions, and I was like, this guy, like, he doesn't take a day off. He always works. Like, he just always work. He never stops. She just looked at me and goes, that's what you're going to say when you take your laptop to go to Walmart? Like, what are you talking about?
Easy.
Man, we appreciate you guys coming on. Matt, Kaner, both of you guys. We'll continue to do some crossover stuff. I got to get Matt on this summer. I want to get you back on, talk a little recruiting as we get into the summer. We appreciate you guys. Hope you guys have a great night.
All right, thank you.
Guys.
All right, let's see where we are at, ladies and gentlemen. We are at $4,171 coming in right now for the Fisher House Foundation. We got a 50 spot from Brian. Appreciate that, Brian. Doug Spencer drops 25. Black Metal Banjo drops $50. Bleed Orange for 98. I see what you did there. It feels like a 98. Michael Davis for 10. James Lawson donates $20. Big Orange Mountain donates 100. That is not cheap. $100 is not cheap. Robert Thomas says neither is 200. He donates $200. BS Osborne for $20. Let me scroll back up here. Where are we? Why does it keep updating like this? It drives me nuts. Keeps updating on me. I got to go back up and figure out where I was at because I want to recognize you guys as these chats come in if I can find them. Let's see here. BS for 20. Who else we got? Shout out to AJ Hensley. AJ Hensley becomes a member of the channel, and I appreciate that support, but tonight is not about me. It is about the Fisher House Foundation, but I do thank you for that. Jenny donates $10. Thank you, Jenny. Who else we got here? We got an anonymous for 20. We got another anonymous for 20. Memphis Ball donates 5. We got Bleed Orange donating another 8. Memphis Ball for 5. Matt Zimmerman for 5. Darius McGee donates, holy smokes, $400 from Darius. We appreciate that, my man. Very generous. We got another anonymous donation for 5. We are caught up. $4,176. We are approaching the goal of 5K. Let's change the goal. Let's change the goal to 10K. Why not? Let's make it happen. Ben, have I been stood up?
No.
I thought I was stood up. I'm like the pretty girl sitting in the restaurant. I'm like, I saw his profile. Got that bald head, always talking smack. And now it's just me and you, Ben. Just me and you.
Swain not in here? He's getting on.
No, we'll see if he pops in. I was trying to give him a little bit of time to pop in. He may be having problems. The first time AP came on the show, he's like, "Good Lord, can you lock down this stream any more difficultly for me?" Well, now Ben's gone. No, you came back.
I'm swiping up to see if I can text him, but I didn't want to lose my camera. So,
you can text him real quick, and I can hang out with the chat and see what's going on if you want to text him real quick.
All right, I'll do that real quick.
All right, cool. I'll put you in the back room and we'll bring you back on. All right. This is what happens around here. It's perfectly fine. Do you guys remember the night AP came on? It was 17 minutes of me talking to the air because AP was having internet trouble. He was late getting home. Then he said, apparently you got to enter 17 passwords. You got to enter 17 passwords in order to get on to a Talkin VAWLS stream. I didn't know that. I don't enter any passwords. But let me say this. Let me take a little break here while we wait on Ben to get a hold of Swain, see if Swain can jump on here. We got 537 people watching live. You guys do me a favor. Hit share right now. Share this stream out on Twitter, on Facebook, anywhere you get social with your media. Share it out. This is not about us. This is about them. This is about the men and women that put it all on the line, man. They are the reason that I get to sit in front of a microphone every day and yell about sports. That's what it's all about. All right, we're set up. We're good to go. Ben McKee, Jason Swain, what's going on, fellas?
What's up? What's up?
Swain, did you have to enter 17 passwords to get on? Is that what happened?
Nah, man. Just one click of the link, man. Really easy.
See, so AP's a liar. That's what I'm getting at. AP's a liar. But let's have some fun. We're going to talk some Tennessee football. We are approaching our goal. We're at $4,200 right now. We're $800 away from the goal of $5,000. We're going to blow that away. We're going for $10,000. Why not? Let's go for $10,000. Obviously, Ben from GoVols 247. You guys also do a little show over on YouTube. Swain Event. Also, you can download the Swain Event app. Swain's over at 99.1 The Sports Animal every Monday through Friday from noon to 3 p.m. Also, I think he played a little football. You guys probably familiar with that. Let's talk some Tennessee football, by the way, Swain. Let's go back. Let's rewind time. Me and Ben have kind of done this before on the show. Let's go back to when Josh Heupel was hired. This football program is at rock bottom. We're looking at an NCAA investigation. We're trying to find a football coach. Josh Heupel gets hired. What's the first thing that kind of goes through your mind? The state of the program at that time, and Josh Heupel coming in to kind of take over as the new head coach.
Without reacting, did my research. He went to go see what he was able to do as offense coordinator. I remember when he was responsible for lighting us up when he was OC at Missouri. We knew that he won a championship as a quarterback at Oklahoma. We looked at kind of his past teams at Central Florida, taking over for a coach that was undefeated in Scott Frost. And so there was only one place to go when you take over for a coach that goes undefeated, and that's down. But he was still able to be successful. Offensively, it's something that Tennessee needed because the offense was so poor before he got here. So I looked at his win percentage. I looked at the fact that he was proven, and Tennessee hadn't hired a proven head coach since Johnny Majors. And I was like, let's go. Let's see what he has. And from everything I've heard and get a chance to meet him, I mean, I knew that we had somebody that can win and get us to where we are right now. Now it's about taking it to the next level.
Man, it's like we've been doing this together for years because that's where I want to go next, Ben. I want to talk about how do we take it to the next level, right? Heupel comes in, he takes over. A lot of people, myself included, I'm saying, all right, how long is this going to take? How long is this rebuild going to take? The mass exodus of players. And we're going to talk a little NIL and portal and transfer portal coming up in a second. But for me, I think NIL, I think the transfer portal kind of allowed Josh Heupel to rebuild this roster a little bit quicker than we thought maybe he could. 7-6 year one. 11 wins and an Orange Bowl in year 2. Man, I'm preaching to my audience. Guys, drink it in. Enjoy it. This is what Tennessee football is supposed to be. Enjoy the ride. This year, maybe took a little step back, 9-4 with a big Citrus Bowl win. What do they got to do, Ben, to take that next step that Swain's talking about?
To continue to recruit guys like they got on Monday with George McIntyre and offensive linemen like Lance Hurd, who they landed on Sunday. Those are the type of guys that you need in order to go win a championship, which is the next step for this program. I feel like the culture's in a great spot. I feel like the leadership, which obviously coincides with culture, I think that's in a pretty good spot. Starting with the coaches and different football team coming into this upcoming season. So that leadership needs to somewhat be reestablished. But I have confidence in guys like Dylan Sampson to do so. Some guys on the defensive side that I think are capable of doing so as well. But I think you have everything in place in terms of the foundation. But what's next is taking that foundation and just continuing to build off of it. And the easiest way to do that is obviously through recruiting. And Tennessee needs more players who have that it factor, who just tick a little different. They're not your average football player. We've seen a lot of average football players come through Tennessee prior to Josh Heupel. They need more James Pierce Juniors and more Nikos and more Mike Matthews, guys like that. So I think Tennessee is recruiting at a good level, and they're off to a great start with this last week in the 2025 class. But in order to take that next step and win a championship, they need to turn that recruiting up a notch, and I think Josh Heupel is capable of doing so.
Do you think that adds maybe a little bit more pressure, as if there's always pressure, right? You play in the SEC, there's always pressure. A little added pressure. Is there anybody in the country, any quarterback in the country that has more pressure on them than Nico going into 2024? All the hype, all the expectations. It feels like this is the year that Tennessee's got to go, prove it. You talk about how do you take the next step? You got to do it through recruiting. Well, part of recruiting is winning on the field. How much pressure's on this team? A lot of talk about Tim Banks, and I always say don't let the truth get in the way of your narrative. I like Tim Banks, and I like that this defense has continued to improve year in and year out. I mean, you're talking about a top 25 defense when it comes to scoring defense this past season, 2023. If you had told me that that's what we're going to get with a Josh Heupel offense, I think, hey, this team's going to be rolling. We're going to be cooking. We're going to be firing on all cylinders. The offense just wasn't what we expected. Swain, break it down for us. What was missing on the offensive side of the ball, and what do you think changes in 2024 with the offense?
Well, guys,
we gonna have church?
Well, I mean, hey, you asked the question, I'm gonna give you an answer. I think talent was missing on the perimeter. You lose a guy like Tillman, you lose a guy like Jalen Hyatt. You had a role player last year, and Ramel Keaton, who did a really good job in that role when Cedric Tillman was out, when he became the number one receiver, unable to perform at that level, being a number one receiver. And so, it's okay. It's not built for everybody. But that role was, I think, a little bit too big for Ramel. Worked his butt off during the summer, worked hard enough to be the number one receiver, but didn't make the plays during the season that Tennessee needed to be the number one receiver. So I thought offensively, playmakers on the outside, you missed those guys. I thought Joe Milton could have been better. I thought the offensive line could have been better. There were flashes during the season. We can go look at the run numbers and rushing numbers, and all that looks good. But if you have two eyeballs, you saw what this offense lacked, and that was the same offensive line production that they had in 2022, which allowed Hendon Hooker to have time to throw the ball deep down the field. It's the reason why Josh Heupel threw 83 screen passes in the first 2-3 games, is because he knows he didn't have enough time. And when he tried to do it against Florida, it's when Joe Milton got hit. It was an interception. So that's why you didn't see a lot of screen passes. Or you saw a lot of screen passes and not a lot of deep shots, because the coach staff knew they didn't have time. So offensive line has to be better. I think leadership has to be better. I think leadership is tossed around I think casually. I don't think people really understand what leadership means inside of a locker room and understand what it takes. You don't lose in the second half the way Tennessee did when you had the leadership necessary. So that has to be, I think, improved upon. That's something that you can develop if you're a coaching staff. I think there are a lot of older players that possess leadership qualities, and they have to take ownership and they have to decide that that's the position they want to take because it's going to be the leadership that's going to propel this team and be able to answer adversity. You're not going to be able to jump on every team 14-0 and win football games. There's going to be times when you're going to be down. You got to pick yourself up, and leadership is what does that. So there's talent. There's a lot of pieces in place, but I think there's a lot of questions that need to be answered, and they have this winter period of workouts where leadership is born and cultivated and molded. And then you have the spring, you have the summer. So there's a lot of time, but there's a lot of questions, but you do have more talent. And that's something that you can build upon.
You guys know the deal. We got 500 people watching live. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Share this thing out. Let's raise as much money as possible for the Fisher House Foundation. Hanging out with Jason Swain, VFL, Ben McKee from GoVols 247 Sports. Ben, Swain kind of mentioned, some struggles on offense. Do you think Tennessee, you talk about taking the next step, do you think, who are some of the guys that you expect to maybe take that next step? Young guys, freshman guys, portal guys, offensively and defensively. Look, we got an entire different back end that we're looking at in 2024. Some of that excites me, the young athleticism. But who do you think are some guys that we could see make an impact in 2024 that maybe necessarily didn't this past season?
Well, other than Nico, who I think is going to be the biggest difference maker, and really elevate the offense. I feel like Nico needs to go prove it, obviously, but I think everybody watching feels confident that Nico is going to go do that. But he needs some guys to step up and help him out. Nico can do all that he can, and if somebody misses their assignment up front or receiver not running the route the way that it needs to be run, or the running back not doing what it needs to do, it doesn't really matter what Nico does on his end. Yeah, he may have some Superman qualities to him, but he needs guys to step up around him and help him make plays as well. I know Joe didn't play perfect football this season, but there are also times where Joe didn't get enough help as well, as Swain alluded to. And they need guys like I think, again, everybody feels confident in a guy like Dylan Sampson, but he's got to go prove it. Cam Seldon is a guy that the coaches are very, very high on, and he's going to be relied upon as that RB2. And you never know. He's a sprained ankle away from having to be the running back back there. So I think he's a guy that's going to step up. The tight end room, you're bringing in Holden Stays, but you need to establish some depth. I think the tight end room, in order to reach its potential next season, they need a guy like Ethan Davis to contribute. And then also you're still trying to build depth at receiver as well. You have Chris Brazzell coming in, Brew McCoy coming back, Squirrel coming back, but if you want to build some true depth, so if injuries hit this upcoming year like it did this past season, then you need Caleb Webb and Chaz Nimrod to take that next step. You need guys like Mike Matthews to come in and contribute. Not necessarily carry the load, but you need them to contribute. So those are kind of the guys I'm looking at on the offensive side. And there's several linemen as well. I think Tennessee could use some more interior help after landing Lance Hurd. But in the meantime, until that help gets here, a guy like Jackson Lampley, Sham Umarov, somebody like that's going to have to step up and really have a nice offseason as well to help this offensive line take the next step. Defensively, Elijah Herring needs to have a big offseason. A lot of those young linebackers need to have a big offseason. Jeremiah T-Lander, Arion Carter. There's several young defensive backs. Ricky Gibson, he's going to have his number called last year. So there's a lot of talent on this roster, but a lot of talent that also needs to have important off seasons, good off seasons, so they can flash that ability that we're seeing in waves, and we see the potential. But in order for Tennessee to take that next step, you have to develop the talent, and that is their next step. So a lot of guys on both sides of the ball that Tennessee is going to be leaning on for the first time. And those names that I mentioned are kind of the ones that pop into my head off the jump.
Let me hit a couple of donations here real quick. We're getting closer. We're almost to $4,300. Jordan Mayton donates $1. We appreciate that. He drops another Jordan must be struggling. He drops $1, then he dropped $9, then he dropped another $9, then he dropped $8. Maybe his wife has a $10 spending limit on him. I don't know, but we appreciate the donations however they come in. Anonymous donation of $16. Trav donates $75. That is a lot of money. We appreciate that support. Again, $42.94. We are getting close. I can't do math, but we're a little over $700 away from the goal of $5,000. Let's get it. Let's hit it. We're going to be live all night long if we have to get there, hanging out with Jason Swain, Ben McKee. One last little topic and question here. We'll get you guys out the door. Swain, obviously the game has changed, right? It's changed. We mentioned the transfer portal, NIL, everything going on. A little different from when you showed up in Knoxville back in 2003. What do you think's changed for the better with the game? What's changed for the worst with college football in 2024?
What changed for the better is players are able to make money on their own name. They're able to have more power. They can transfer and go to another school, go to a better situation if they think is best for them. The same thing can be said for what's worse, except for the money part of NIL, is the fact that it allows these players to run from adversity, run from competition. I'm all for the one-time transfer. I'm all for a player graduating and being able to go somewhere else, but the multiple transfers, I'm not with that at all. I think there's value in the struggle. There's value in the grind. There's value in adversity. There's value in having someone ahead of you in the depth chart, and you having to work your way up the depth chart by proving it in practice each and every day. I do think that players being more empowered, it has forced coaches to either change their style or change their careers. And you're not going to be talking funky and out of pocket to a player calling him out his name like you were able to do years ago, because they'll leave you. They'll expose you. So it has forced coaches to kind of adjust their style of coaching and how they communicate. You don't have to demean and degrade a player to get them to play hard for you, get them to do a certain thing on the football field and carry out a task. So it ain't going anywhere. You just got to, if you're Tennessee, just like every other school, you got to figure out, until help comes, until rules are laid out, how can you go out there and still win? You gotta play in the mud pen, I guess, until someone comes and cleans it up. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy for the players able to make more money. But when you're making more money, are you still hungry enough to get to the league, or did you satisfy the appetite and you don't care much about football anymore because the money has satisfied that appetite here in college? So it just depends on how you look at it. It also depends on the people that are around an athlete. We got the right people around, young man, young lady. You don't have agents in these athletes' ears lying to them and telling them things they want to hear just because they try and get their pockets lined. Then you won't have any problems. So you got to have right people around you. You got to have the right mindset to deal with all this stuff.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming on. We just hit the $4,500 mark. We're going to hit 5,000. No doubt about it. I've told Ben this before. I told Ben this, I think, one of the first times he came on the channel, but now I'm going to tell it to you, Swain, face to face, because I've been a long-time listener, been a fan, obviously, of you when you played at Tennessee, and then going all the way back to Tennessee Sports Radio, man, the old days. Like, I've been listening for a long time. I love what you do. What I like about you guys more than anything is you're good dudes. It's not just that, oh, you're entertaining, you're fun, you know the game, whatever. And something that you guys have always done with your platform is give back. When you have the opportunity to give back, you give back. So God's blessed me with this platform, and when I've got the opportunity to give back, so you pay it forward. You guys kind of fired me up and motivated me when I got this platform to give back. So I want you to know that the same way that Ben knows that, and I appreciate you guys coming on.
Hey, man. Thank you, man. That means a lot. Means a lot.
Appreciate you, brother.
Man.
I told you last year I lived next to the Fisher House when my dad was stationed in Fort Bragg, so I know firsthand how the Fisher House can greatly impact and help military families. So to all those listening, I saw a comment pop up a moment ago how the Fisher House helped his family when he was injured on his deployment. Thank you for your service and your sacrifice. We greatly appreciate it. And Boogie, thank you for allowing us to hop on and contribute. And shout out to everybody out here raising the money for a great cause. Thank you, Boogie.
Go check out what they're doing. The Swain event, the Sports Animal, Go Vols 247. Appreciate you guys coming on, Ben. We'll catch up. We'll do a little crossover in the future. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Boogie.
All right, boys, let's roll on. Let's keep the train going. We hit the $4,500 mark. Christopher donates $50. We got an anonymous donation for $100. Jerry C. donates $5. Trav for $25. Tom Roddy donates $10. Ron the Don. Ron the Don's the man. I love me some Ron the Don. I guarantee you, if we didn't hit $5,000, I could get Ron the Don on here to yell at you guys. We'd hit it real quick. Bleed Orange donates another $20. We got an anonymous donation for $50. Michelle donates $500. I think that is $1,000. I think that's $1,000 that Michelle has donated. Thank you, Michelle. We appreciate that. That is that's ridiculous. Alicia donates $20. We appreciate that. We hit the goal. Boys, it's over. It's over. Stream's over. Shutting it down. We're closing it down. $5,000. It's done. We crossed the finish line. I'm not done yet. I need $10,000. Watch this. You guys are going to see a common theme here. Reed Bacon, what's going on, my friend?
Let's go. Let's go.
Put on
let's
more
go.
steam. There's a theme going on tonight. You see, the former players can't figure out how to work the internet.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good. Perfect.
Yeah, so no, Kyler's trying to get in. He proclaims that you did not send him the link to his DM on Twitter.
I didn't. I sent it to you. Oh, is this my fault? I can DM it to him right now.
Please do, because he is trying to get in. So you sent it to me directly, and when I tried to copy and send it over to him, it wouldn't go. So
it's not the first time. Let me send it to him right now.
Okay, yeah, please do, because he's trying to get in.
It's all good. One of the funniest things ever, I was doing a show with Eric Kane one morning, and I was talking, waiting. I'm like, I guess he's blowing me off. And he's in the chat, and I don't see him. And he's yelling. He's like, Boogie, send me the damn link. I'm like, I'm oblivious. I'm just doing my thing. I'm talking. My phone's going off. I'm ignoring it. And then finally somebody super chats and's like, by the way, Kaner's in waiting for the link. So not the first time that I've screwed somebody over. We're going to have some fun tonight, man. I'm excited, Reed. I've tweeted out, I don't get nervous doing this show ever. Like, you sit in front of a microphone all day, every day. You get used to it. This show, I get anxious. I get nervous because it means a lot, man. It means a lot. I'm excited. I want to raise money for a good cause. And I tweeted out and said the hours of work that went in behind the scenes, like all the moving parts, communication with all the different people. You texted me at what time? It was after 11 last night. You're staying up, breaking down film to get ready for today. So I appreciate the work you did off air behind the scenes.
No. Listen, you're the one that so I'll be honest, I tuned in basically right at the start and have been watching it. This is so impressive. I'm pumped to be a part of it. I was going to ask you who the largest donation was so far, but I've heard a couple of them. So I will definitely be adding to that. I think that you can easily get 10. So it's incredible. I actually used to work for a staffing company called Orion Talent. Great company, but they were a staffing company specifically for military veterans and military spouses. So when you reached out about this, I was like, I'm 1,000% in, 1,000% game. Kyler was all in. Matter of fact, if you can drop me back out of it for a second and chat, I'm going to text him because I'll go off and tell him that you sent it to him in his Twitter. So, because I want to make sure that he joins.
Cool. We'll let Reed drop off and hit up Kyler. We'll get them on here. They're taking Coach Jay's job. Anybody that's new to the Talkin VAWLS network, you don't know what this show is. Well, it's for the fans, by the fans. We jump on. We're passionate. We're emotional. We talk Tennessee football. We don't always speak maybe with the brain, maybe we speak a little bit with the heart, but we do a little film breakdown series around here because Coach Jay coaches a little ball out on the West Coast. He breaks down some film for us. It's a lot of fun looking at different recruits, different prospects as they come in, and I was trying to figure out what to do with Reed and Kyler, and I said, hey, let's talk recruiting. You know, who you guys are excited about that's in the class of 24, already coming on campus? Who are you excited about that's going to be incoming freshmen at Tennessee? And Reed says, we'll break down the film. I'll send you some timestamps. And I'm like, oh, they're coming. They're coming for Coach Jay's job. We are almost to $5,500. Let's go. Put on more steam. Do not stop. The goal is now $10,000. That's the goal. 10,000. Let's get there. I think I'm caught up. Holy smokes. Vols girl donates another $200. I think she's also donated. I don't know if she's up to like $700. She donated yesterday. She donated this morning, and here's another $200. AJ Hensley donates $100. Chad G donates $47. We appreciate that. The donations coming in. A lot of you guys dropping anonymous donations, and that's cool too. That is awesome to do that. We appreciate the support. All right. Where's the big fella? Did he get it?
I texted him, and I just saw the text come through. He said, got it. So I'm assuming his big, beautiful face will be popping in. By the way, Boogie, I got to give you a hard time real quick. So I'm sitting here watching when you had Ben and Swain on, and you read it off, and you're like, hey, he said 1. Then he donated 9.
Yeah.
But I saw someone in the chat say Boogie is 1998. And I don't know if you saw that yet.
I saw it in the chat. I was totally oblivious. Kyler's in the house. Big fella.
We're here. We're here. It took me a second, but I figured it out.
You can throw me under the bus. It's okay. I don't know why I was communicating with like one person. Yeah, it's Reed's fault. It's Reed's fault. Let's blame Reed.
That's what I do most of the time. Yeah. So it's par for the course at this point.
You usually just sit back and look at him while he talks and rambles. That's usually what you do.
People love that's the comment I get the most. They're like, well, I like the way Reed talks, but I like your facial expressions because the way I react to what Reed's saying is usually what gets people going.
I made an intro video, and I've actually posted the video on Twitter. Just showing everybody that's coming on. And I was getting a clip, and it was like Reed talking and like you just going, Yep. I was like, I love it. I love it. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on. Pancakes and Bacon. You can go check out their show over at Rocky Top Insider. You guys do that show once a week. What do you? Is it Monday? Do you drop it Monday? I don't know what day you drop it.
It depends.
That's why I don't know. You don't know? I don't know.
We don't know. It changes.
You guys can go check it out over at Rocky Top Insider. I love listening to people that know way more about football than I know. That's what I love to do. You guys kind of deep dive. Reed played football at Memphis. Obviously, Kyler played at Tennessee. I wanted to talk recruiting with you guys, and I said I wanted to talk about the class of 24 as a whole. A lot of people want to be negative about this class because they're looking at the rankings or the numbers. There's a lot of blue chip prospects in this class. Kyler, we'll let you kick it off. You guys got a couple of players we're going to get into. We're going to show some film on here in just a second. But as a whole, what do you think of this class of 24?
I really like this class. I think it fits the needs that we have. I think, and a lot of times, especially now with recruiting classes, it's, listen, guys, like we need to get some of the quality guys, but it doesn't have to be 25 stars. Like, there's still the transfer portal. There's still that kind of stuff that's coming in. I was just talking to one of my buddies about it, and it's like, you know, a guy like Addison Nichols who came in that I was super excited about as an offensive lineman and ends up transferring. In my head, I'm like, dang, that sucks because I loved his, 4.2 GPA, and he's an Eagle Scout, and he's a smart kid, and he's tough. But then I look at it and I go, well, Cooper's coming back. Spraggs is coming back. Just got heard from LSU. Addison wasn't going to play. He literally wasn't. So it's like sometimes this stuff just works out, in your favor. Obviously, you want the highest class you can get, but like I trust this coaching staff now. You know what I mean? Like I look at the production our defensive line has had and think Rodney Garner knows who he needs to go after. I look at the production in our rushing yards per game, and I think Glenn Ellerbe knows what offensive lineman he needs. I look at Coach Heupel, what he was able to do with Hendon Hooker, who coming from Virginia Tech is an okay quarterback, and I go, he's going to fight the right one. He's going to find the right quarterback for himself. So if you put the trust in the coaches, you can go a long way with that.
There's so many layers to it, right? Because it's not just high school recruiting, even though that's kind of what we're focused on right now is the class of 24. But Reed, it's roster management. That's the word I've been throwing around for the last, probably last month is roster management. Everybody wants to talk about the portal. Well, Boogie, they didn't go throw the bag at this guy or that guy, right? They want to get every 5-star that transfers. Well, go throw the bag at him. And I'm going, nobody wants to talk about the fact that you're bringing back your entire offensive line, and then you upgraded. You checked out Gerald Mincey, who's going to go, do what? Apparently win 11 games at Kentucky. Good luck. But you upgraded to Lance Hurd, right? Nobody wants to talk about Cooper Mays coming back. Nobody wants to talk about Spraggs coming back. That to me, that's transfer portal. You might as well lump that in, Reed, with transfer portal. Roster management, this staff's done a great job with it.
I completely agree. And I took a quick note when I was listening to you and when you had Ben and Swain on, but you had made a comment about kind of waiting to see if Heupel's the guy. So I would love to know if you are sold on Heupel, but I can say that I personally am. Like, I love Coach Heupel. I absolutely am sold on him. And therefore I put my trust in him. I can only trust what I've seen with my eyes. And there's two bad games, in my opinion, in his 3 years. One was Florida. I was dead wrong about that game. I've mentioned it many times on our podcast. And then Missouri. I don't want to get into it. I think that because it's still Coach Heupel's responsibility. I just don't think that we had the quarterback play this year and I love that you mentioned, hey, you still defend the defense. Kyler and I got crushed for saying that the reason that we lost to Missouri was not because of the defense, it's because of the offense. And so I tie all that in to say, like, I trust this staff, and it's 1,000% roster management. And I love bringing back 24 and 25-year-old dudes compared to having to worry about. Now, you need them all. You need them all. But this is a year-to-year thing, and I'm only worried about next year right now. I'm not worried about the depth after this year and who we lose and who we don't, because for me personally, that's a wasted effort. I'm like, let 2025 take care of itself. We're in 2024 right now, and I'm excited. And listen, if we had guys transfer out, if we don't get certain high school guys, they can go to the portal and get who they want or whatever the case may be. So you're right, but it's always a year-to-year thing in sports. It's a week-to-week thing in sports, but even more now, it is truly year-to-year with the portal, recruiting, all that stuff.
Let me let you in on a little secret.
All right.
Everybody look away. Everybody look away. I'm going to talk to Reed and Kyler. Do I think Heupel's the guy? I thought Derek Dooley was the guy. I thought Butch Jones was the guy.
Me too.
Yeah,
me too.
I hope you
about
did.
It. Me too.
I hope you thought Butch was the guy. I thought Jeremy Pruitt was the guy. I'm the most ride or die, optimistic, glass half full. Guys, it's okay. It's okay. So when Heupel goes and wins 11 games, I'm going, oh, my God, he's going to win a national championship. There's clearly no doubt. He won 11 games in year 2. So I'm all the time overly optimistic. We're going to have some fun now. I told these guys, I said, actually, I think this was Reed's idea. Pick a guy on that you guys are with in this class of 24. Who do you like? Who do you like the most? Reed said, we'll talk about some of their film. So that is what we're going to do. We're going to pull up the huddle film. Kyler, you went with Gage Ginther, and I love this pick because, again, rankings, star rankings, 3-star prospect, 3-star U. He is the number 1 player out of the state of Colorado, but there is a lot of narrative out there that he's one of the most underrated offensive linemen in this class. Why'd you go with Gage? What do you like about his game? And then we're going to take a look at a few plays here from his senior highlights.
So overall, obviously when Reed kind of brought this up to me, I'm going to pick an offensive lineman.
I was like, if he picks anybody but offensive line, I'm going to be pissed.
But Gage just stood out to me because of the little stuff. When you're looking at offensive line recruits, you always want a couple things out of them. It is, hey, I got a big, strong dude, and I've got a mean guy, right? He's someone who's looking for that dump. He's wanting to get the pancake. He's wanting to get that extra block, and he's got some feet to him. A lot of the times, guys don't have any technique when they're coming out of high school. High school coaches don't know enough about offensive line technique to really get down and dirty with these guys and be like, hey, this is where you put your hands. This is where you move your feet. This is how you get into position to make this block. So if any of that pops up on a high school guy's film, I'm automatically in love with them. And Gage, that popped up all over the place. And he still had that physicality, that mean streak to him. He's wanting to dunk guys. He's wanting to make sure they feel his presence. And he's got the athletic ability to go with it. So I just absolutely love this film. I think this first play that we have up is actually a pass set that he has. And I just want you to look at his feet. Right off the bat, his feet and the way that they move, the way he sets back, is still able to redirect himself and stay in front of his defender. It's so quick. His feet are so fast, and then you get a dump. Then you get a dump to finish it. He's got the quick feet. Boom, 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 boom. Small steps, stays underneath himself, doesn't get overextended, doesn't turn on his pass pro, and he's able to control the guy. He does not let him control the rep, and then he dumps him. at the end. So shows me that violence, shows me that aggression, which I absolutely love.
All right, we're going to jump ahead to the play at 205.
So this one, okay, when I look at this play, this is the smarts of an offensive lineman. This is the brain capacity when you go into it. There are techniques that you can do to help yourself, right? If you're not as athletic as the other guy, there are drills and strength training that you can do. Try and get stronger, try and get faster, but sometimes you just got to be smarter. So when you look at this play and you look at Gage lined up at left tackle, and to a novice, to anybody who's watching this, they look at it and they go, he's staring directly at the defensive end. He's going to block this defensive end. That's who he's blocking, right? Why would he be looking at him? But as soon as you play this, he has a down block to the 3 technique. He is literally confusing the defensive lineman so he can get a better block. That is his whole reason for turning and looking out that way. All of a sudden, ball snaps, down inside. Great high leg, finishes his block, puts the guy on the ground. That is an incredible rep out of him. Just incredible rep. It's all of it. He's got great technique on it. He's got great fundamentals on it. He finishes on it, and he starts the play with his mind. He starts the play by being smarter than the other guy. So it's just one of those. It's one of those that it really gets me going as soon as I saw it. And then this last play shows speed and athleticism of Gage working to the next level, getting up to a safety or a guy that might be faster or more athletic than him and still be able to run with him, still being able to block and not feeling like, oh, he's going to fall on his face. Because that's what we see a lot, right? Offensive linemen, they get out in space. They're trying to make blocks on screens, or they're trying to get to the next level to open up something for the running back, and they fall. Right? They miss the guy. They whiff. But Gage here, I think he's at left tackle right here, works his way up, and you see him finishing his block 30 yards downfield on a safety as he runs downfield, putting him in the dirt. That's not what you don't see that out of guys. You really don't. You're not going to see this on a lot of offensive lineman film. The way he's able to cut off a guy who's probably 100 pounds lighter than him, way faster than him, more athletic than him, and he's still able to get up there. He's still able to put him in the dirt. I just, those kinds of things in Gage's film impressed me so much that I'm so excited to see him get on campus, to get in those meeting rooms with Glenn and work with the guys, and maybe even just take more knowledge in from, the John Campbells and the older guys that are there. Like, Gage is one of those recruits. And it was like that with Addison. Like, he's one of those recruits. I'm like, sign me up. Sign me up. If I'm a coach and I watch that film, offer immediately. There's no doubt in my mind.
This is the stuff that makes me giddy. So many people hate me in this space, or I just assume everybody hates me because they think, oh, who's this stupid fan sitting in his basement with video games and toys around him? And he's a dork. He doesn't know what I never come on here and act like I know anything. That's why I love your all show, because you talk about stuff that I don't know, right? So I can get educated when I watch Pancakes and Bacon. That's why I love it. I'm not trying to pretend to know more than anybody. I'm just a psychotic, passionate fan. That's why that gets me giddy. That gets me excited. Reed, You played a little college football yourself. I told you to pick a guy. You go defense. You're going Edwin Spillman, in-state prospect. I'm going to go on record and say this is the reason why Jonathan Eccles decided to go to USF. Edwin Spillman wrecked his life. Did you guys see the hit that Spillman put on Jonathan? He destroyed him when Lipscomb played IMG Academy. He changed Jonathan Eccles' career and life. I don't know if you guys saw that play.
I didn't, but I'm going to find it right when we get off here, because Edwin Spillman is an absolute problem, a physical man. Like, I would love to play with, beside, coach someone like this. I hate that I didn't go to the Knoxville Catholic game, because Kyle and I went to Knoxville Catholic, but I hate I didn't go to Catholic when Lipscomb came here. Just to pop in and see him and Caleb Beasley up close and personal. I know Kyler can go to spring practice if he wants to coming up, and so he can go and do the walk by and see what these guys, because that's my only downfall or like worries. Like, I haven't seen Edwin in person, but the way that he plays the game is exactly how you want to play the game on defense, and it's specifically as a linebacker. And so I thought he was a major get, and maybe it's a little bit of this past season really, really worried me. It was a bummer to watch some of the linebacker play this year. And I know we had injuries, and I know everyone's excited for Keenan. And not to say that I'm not excited. I still want to pump the brakes a little bit because we saw him for one game. He had some up and down times at BYU. I know that could be because of coming off an injury, but I don't want to put all my eggs in that basket to say, hey, he's our savior. We really do need, and he's great to at least be in the room for his senior and veteran and mature leadership, but we really need the young dudes, whether it's Arian Carter, T. Lander, Smith, Edwin Spillman, any of those guys. They really have. I mean, we need them to step up, but it's also the fact that it's a great opportunity for them. And I think Edwin has a chance to push those guys pretty quickly. Like I said, depending on physically his speed and the way he plays, he's good enough physically, but I just don't know if that size. I mean, you do have to have some weight in your pants. But anyways, I'll stop talking about that. We can get into some of these plays if you want, and I'll just kind of highlight why I picked these.
Yeah, we're going to take a look 0-1 right out of the gate.
Yeah, so this play right here, I joked about it on our podcast that I just gave the eyes emoji like, oh my gosh, did you see that? Because the speed that he took off. Now, this is your typical linebacker highlight film that anyone can watch and be like, wow, that was impressive because of how quick he gets to the backfield. He blasts Buddy. And so that just shows this game is all about speed. You got to have the size, but if you can't run in space, if you can't run and tackle, you're not going to play on the defensive side. And so this highlights him just being an absolute menace and getting to the backfield. This is kind of the fun highlight. This is the one that everyone can appreciate just because how fast he is. And I don't know if it's frozen or whatnot.
No, I was waiting. Here we go.
The way he timed that, and the way he kind of nonchalant plays it, and he's kind of showing like, hey, I might be coming on the outside. And he just shoots it and absolutely wrecks Buddy. And I love how fired up he gets. I love that emotion. You have to have that on the front seven on defense. And so I love that. Now this is my favorite play. This is my favorite play right here. Like I legitimately got excited last night at 11 o'clock watching this again and knowing that I was going to talk about it because this is a play that if people are watching this, they're like, what the hell's this? Like it's he takes on a guard and then makes a tackle 4 or 5 yards downfield, but potentially because the angle you can't really tell. Watch how and this, I don't know who this team is, but this is a good size boys for high school football. The way he body bags this guard that tries to come up to him. So you would think as an offensive lineman, Kyler's in absolute heaven because he doesn't have to worry about another lineman in front of him. He gets to come up to the linebacker and Edwin makes this dude pay for it. He hits him, he disengages, and then watch how fast he gets downfield, and then he murders Buddy again. He gets two kill shots in one. Go ahead and run it back again. I'll be quiet. Just watch this.
Watch that head.
Bang. Snap Buddy back, and then he comes running and cleans. So it's like that's the stuff like that doesn't even look like it should be a good highlight because hey, like he didn't tackle someone in the backfield. It's not a sack. Like he didn't Ray Lewis to someone's head at a receiver coming across the middle, but taking on a block of a guy that's that much bigger than he is and absolutely like Kyler and I call it rocking that head back, disengaging, getting downfield to then lay another big shot. That's the stuff that you have to have in SEC. And unfortunately, it was some of the stuff that we didn't see this year with Tennessee. And that's why I'm so pumped about seeing stuff like that.
All right, we got one last play here from Edwin Spillman. I feel like Jalen Smith, Arian Carter, all the guys that they've added the last couple of years, violence. They play aggressive, and they are violent. And like you said, you want that little bit of dog, right? You want that little bit of dog. Jeremiah T. Lander has that little bit of dog. If you watch his high school tape, he like everything. You say kill shot, everything Jeremiah T. Lander did in high school
you
was a kill shot.
You watch him in some of the plays this past year. He was trying to kill people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He did not hesitate. Didn't matter if the offensive lineman's massive. He's going in there trying to knock heads.
One last play from Spillman here, 2:15. Reed.
Yeah.
Oh, you want me to play it? Go ahead. You want to talk about it? Or you want me to play it?
I go ahead and play it because I don't know. I don't know if this is one of the ones that I sent you or not.
Oh wait, I may be.
But
I'm on the wrong timestamp. Well, see, I don't send Kyler the link. I'm on the wrong timestamp. Look, do you know how hard it is to organize a live stream for 17 people?
No,
I'm just
I
blessed to
commend
be
you, bud.
breathing
I
right now.
commend you.
I'm just blessed to be breathing right now. All right, I'm on the right times. Reed's like, I didn't send you this. What are you doing, you idiot? All right, here we go. 2:15. This is the play you sent.
No, you're crushing it, Boogie. Seriously, I'm not BSing. What you've done tonight's incredible. But yeah, this right here is basically just fighting through traffic. Another one that shows his speed, getting through traffic. You do not. People can watch Edwin Spillman. They know that he's not afraid of contact. They know that he's about that life. He's about that action, as Marshawn Lynch likes to say. But you do not have to engage if you don't want to. If you can use your speed and get around the big fellas, get around the big uglies to make a tackle for a loss, do it. No one's going to question your toughness or anything. The way he gets skinny, as it's called, to get skinny, get in between there and run through the traffic is so impressive. That was another thing besides the lack of speed sideline to sideline this year that worried me. But sometimes we would just get caught up in traffic. And we talked about T-Lander. For what he did as a true freshman, you could watch, and unfortunately the play might be a 6 or 7 yard for the offense. And he didn't make the play, but if you go watch him, he absolutely rocked his guard and got disengaged and was working to make the play. So guys like T-Lander, Jalen Smith, even the other from this past year, Jordan Burns, I think, we think that he's a good player. He's a good linebacker. He plays physical. I don't think he's as physically gifted as Edwin Spillman is, but everyone wanted to talk about the secondary last year. People can think whatever they want to think about Jeremy Banks. Not that I'm an apologist of him. But the guy played some damn good linebacker for us in 2022. It's took a step back in 2023, and we really need someone to take that role on in 2024. And so that's why I pick Edwin. I don't know if he's going to do it as a true freshman, but I'm really, really excited. And he shows some of those good quality traits that you need. So,
I appreciate you not calling out Elijah Herring by name because we don't call people out by name on this show. So I appreciate that. I appreciate you boys coming on here. We have raised, as of right now, $5,541 for the Fisher House Foundation. So I appreciate you guys coming on. It's been fun, man. We tried to connect. I guess it was last season. I wanted to try to get you guys on because I'm a big fan of what you guys do. Coach Jay put it in the chat. He loves you guys. Go sub up. Go check out what they're doing with Pancakes and Bacon over at Rocky Top Insider. Had a great conversation with Reed back over the summer. Like you randomly messaged me like, hey, can I give you a call and talk YouTube? 100%, because I love what you guys do, and I appreciate you guys taking time to come on here and hang out with a bunch of psychotic fans, because that's what we do. I don't pretend to know anywhere close to what you guys know about college football, but I love listening to you guys talk, and I love to get on here and talk Tennessee football. So, Reed, Kyler, appreciate you guys.
Yeah, go ahead, Kyler.
Yeah, I thank you. Thank you for having us on. Like Reed said, love the show. I always see it as I'm a fan now too, right? Like I did play. I have some expertise, but like I'm just as crazy as everybody else. When you said, hey, I believed in every coach, I did the same. I argued with Reed about keeping Jeremy Banks. Like he can tell you, Jeremy Pruitt. Like I argued about it with him. So I'm just as passionate as everybody else. I was a Tennessee fan before I was a player. So I'm right there with you. I love this school. I love this university. I love talking ball. It's one of my favorite things in the world. So thank you for having us on. This is an amazing, I can't believe you're able to do this. Like we work off StreamYard. I try and run it myself. I can't figure this out. This is incredible. So you did an amazing job, and what a great thing to do for charity. This is fantastic.
Yeah, Boogie, thanks a million for inviting us. Thank you. You were so kind and gracious when I DM'd you when we talked on the phone. I told Kyler how much I appreciated that. And it was, I appreciate that so much, and what you're doing tonight's great, and enjoy, I hope everyone else enjoys the rest of the show, and y'all keep tuning in, and it's awesome what you guys are doing for Fisher House. So thank you.
We're going to do it every year. That's my commitment. Pancakes and Bacon, Kyler Kerbyson, Reed Bacon. Appreciate you guys. Go sub them up over at Rocky Top Insider. We'll catch up. We'll catch up soon. Appreciate you guys.
See you, Boogie.
Yeah.
All right, let's see where we are at. $5,591 donated. We got a 20 spot from Crawdad Watson. Let's see if we got any other donations coming through. Man, it keeps updating because I have to do this. It's really pissing me off. I'm going to have to email StreamYard and say, can we not add donations to StreamYard. We got an anonymous donation for $5. We appreciate that as well. J Vol donated $10. Thank you for that. We appreciate it. We got another anonymous for anonymous $50 donation. Thank you for that. Another anonymous $50 donation. And we are caught up. So thank you guys. Keep the donations coming in. We are at $5,641. If you're watching this on the rewatch, you're watching this on the replay, the donation link is still there. I see Robert in the chat saying, where's the super chat button? It is gone. I'm not getting any money. YouTube's not getting any money. Hit that donate button and everything is going to the Fisher House Foundation. I'm not too far behind. I feel bad for Charlie and Zach sitting in the back. They're like, well, Boogie said 8:25. It's 8:35. Well, maybe I'll learn to send the link to some of the hosts and then we won't have problems. But let's get these guys on here. Charlie Burris, Zach Reagan, AtoZ Sports. What is up, guys?
What's going on, man?
What's up?
You know, I made a video this morning yelling about Greg McElroy, and I was on Twitter and I was going, where's the damn video? Where's the video? And I'm searching Greg McElroy, Tennessee. And I say this every time you guys come on, but I'm gonna say it again. I'm like, where's the I can't find the. I guarantee you Zach has the video posted. Sure enough, I look up Zach's Twitter. There's the video. The best follow on Twitter at ZachTNT. You never disappoint, man. Every time I need a clip that's going to piss off Vol fans or it's going to generate clicks or it's going to piss off Lane Kiffin, there you are with what I need.
I appreciate it. I was just sitting here wanting to compliment you on every time I watch your show or see you on your background, everything you got going on there, the vibe. I absolutely love it, what you got going on there. It's fantastic.
Are you calling me a child? You see, as a kid, I couldn't afford any of this. So as an adult, I'm like, I'm going to buy everything I wanted as a child. And so that's what I buy.
I love it.
But now my little one loves it. He's like, Daddy, can I come? I want to play Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm like, Daddy's got to work. Oh. And he hates those words. He's like, that means I can't get in the office. So he doesn't like when Daddy's got to work. But nonetheless, we're going to have some fun, man. We're going to wing it. We're going to talk about Josh Heupel. We're going to talk about roster management. We're going to talk about the transfer portal. We're going to talk about expectations. But let's start with roster management. Something I was talking about a little bit earlier in the show. It's no longer recruiting high school kids. It's not just, well, I gotta have that top 5 class. It's no longer even the portal, right? Even it's changed with the portal. I think it's so big, Charlie, for going into 2024. You're getting all of your offensive linemen back. You upgrade Gerald Mincey for Lance Hurd. You're bringing back most of your defensive line. There's so much to it when it goes to roster management. How do you think Heupel has done through 3 years going into year 4 with roster management?
I think he's done a good job overall, because we all know that when he showed up, he was given just it's a family show, a crap sandwich when he showed up initially. And obviously we know last season the miracle that he pulled with an 11-win year, and then this past year was kind of like rebuilding, so to speak. And the only qualm that I've had with any of it is just when you look at the teams that win national championships, they're just teams that stack elite classes on elite classes on elite classes on elite classes. He has not done that yet. This class, and I say that, and also say this class is good that he's bringing in, for sure. Has really good guys in it. The transfer portal has been good. And in fact, I think a lot of people were pretty skeptical at the beginning. There was all that talk with, Glenn Ellerby doesn't know how to recruit and whatever else, the rumors that were flying around. And now I think the way that it's all come together, he's done a really good job in that way. But then it is clear they've really prioritized keeping guys around, and clearly they've succeeded at that. I mean, by far in a way, they've done an excellent job with just hooking the guys up that are already on the team with NIL deals, or doing whatever they got to do to keep those guys in town. And I think people discount that because it's not flashy and it doesn't come with it's a 5-star that they're bringing in or anything like that. But bringing back long tenured guys who played good football for you already is huge, and they've done a really good job with that, I think.
Yeah, I feel like you bring back the Omari Thomas, the Omar Norman lot, Elijah Simmons, Javonte Spraggins, Cooper Mays, all these guys. Those in a sense are kind of like portal additions. Those are guys that didn't have to come back, that could have left, and you didn't have to go out and replace them. And you're better off for that because the continuity obviously is there. The team culture that Josh Heupel has made so important and he's really stuck to that. You know, he's hasn't really made these promises and not delivered on them. This has been the way he's wanted to set this team up. Build through recruiting, fill the holes through the portal, be kind of picky with who you take in so you can preserve that culture. Those are the teams that win championships. I mean, the portal can be a quick fix, but that's hard to sustain from year to year. What Lane Kiffin is doing at Ole Miss, you know, he's burning up the portal. He's working hard, obviously, but he's going to have to do that every single offseason. That leads to burnout for coaches. That's just really hard to sustain. So I like the way that Heupel has built this, and I think it's the best way to build a college program right now, if you can do it. And so far, Heupel seems like he can.
I think it's funny that people don't give credit for Coop coming back and Spraggins coming back. What? Just imagine all those guys left, right? They all left. NFL, no longer playing. Whatever the case may be. Just imagine they're all gone. And let's pretend that Hype went to the portal and got a center the caliber of Cooper Mays, and got a guard the caliber of Javonte Spraggins, and got a tackle the caliber of John Campbell, right? And then go to the defensive line, and you're talking about Omar Norman Lott and Omari Thomas. Are you kidding me? Imagine, Charlie, if they added all of those guys via the portal, what everybody would be saying. Nobody is giving credit because, like you said, Charlie, it's well, there's no 5-star, there's no All-American, there's no this, there's no that. Every time somebody enters the portal, I get a DM, a tweet, something saying, drop the bag, go get him, we got to have this guy. And it's like, well, are you ignoring that the entire offensive line's coming back? There's layers to this game. It's roster management. It's no longer just recruiting in the portal.
Absolutely. It's really kind of becoming, you could see with Alabama, retaining your roster is not some given. It's so clear there, the power that Saban was holding. I mean, those dudes were there for Saban and Saban alone. And there's really something to say about a coach who can keep guys around and doesn't, you don't have a ton of attrition. And if you do, hopefully a lot of it is guys that you were maybe hoping to, transfer portal or recruit over the top of. And I think that Heupel has absolutely accomplished that. And it shouldn't go unnoticed because it really is. I think Spraggins is perfect example. If he is gone, that is a serious position of need. And now it's not. Now you have a guy who's long tenured, played SEC football. That's what everybody brings up. Oh, he's highly rated, but has he played in the SEC or anything? You got a guy who has played SEC football for years now, and obviously he knows Josh Heupel's offense. That's another one that gets brought up. Oh, can they come and assimilate into Josh Heupel's offense? Well, if you get guys that just stay around, obviously they already know it, and so it is like recruiting, I guess, these guys, and it's a win when you get them to stick around. And it's not like, I guess we're kind of saying that in a way that it makes it sound like all of those guys want to leave. They don't want to leave, but they all could. And they all, probably have that inclination now because it's becoming so popular to chase a little bit of money and go like, oh, well, maybe I'll stick one foot out the door and, hey, cut me a check. That's becoming popular, and balancing that. We say it all the time on our show. I don't envy college coaches right now. It's got to be so tough because not only are you recruiting the actual recruiting trail, you're recruiting the transfer portal, and you're recruiting your own players from your own team at this point, and it's round the clock, endless. And I think Heupel's done a really solid job there.
We haven't even talked enough about, any of us, I feel like, this offseason is James Pierce and the fact that, it's the best one of the best defensive players in the country, maybe the best. And there was never even a whisper about him leaving or posting cryptic messages to social media, trying to hint at maybe going to the portal. None of that. And that's huge. Just the fact that none of that happened. I don't think Josh Heupel and his staff and Rodney Gardner get nearly enough credit for keeping that guy away from Alabama, away from Georgia, Ohio State, because those programs would love to have that guy.
I had a thought on the tip of my tongue. Oh, culture. As you talk about that, everybody likes to say culture, right? Oh, Josh Heupel's building the culture until that 5-star hits the portal. And then it's like, culture be damned. Let's go add the best player in the country, right? It's like, I don't care about culture anymore. I want some dogs. I want the guys that are the best in the country. I've said it for a while now. You better get used to James Pierce because you got one more year to watch him, and then he's going to be the number 1 defensive player drafted in the NFL draft. So soak it in, drink it in, because he's going to be gone real soon. Transfer portal. We talked about the importance, the COVID seniors, but when we look at the guys that they actually added via the transfer portal, Lance Hurd, Holden Stace, Jackson Moy, the kid from Alabama, the tight end. I think, he obviously, I think he's just a depth piece, but I think that's huge because you got to watch. You're gonna piss off Ethan Davis. He's gonna hit the portal, so I think he was a nice depth piece that doesn't necessarily challenge Ethan Davis where he feels threatened, but you can add another body to that tight end room. Charlie, when you look at who they've added, who do you really like in this portal class, and why is it Lance Hurd? And then you can give me somebody else.
Lance Hurd is definitely right up there. I cannot lie. That one, the fact that they pulled that off, you can't understate how big that is. When you have, this is the way that I've been saying it on our show. You have the window. Like NFL teams, NBA teams. You notice that you have a really nice core of a team, and you go like, okay, we have a championship window right here. And then they go and they'll like mortgage the house to try to grab other, build a super team, do whatever. And I think you're coming up on a window here with Nico, where if you can put the right pieces around him, you have a dude who could be transcendent, in my personal opinion. When you hear, obviously we watched it with our own 2 eyes against Iowa, but when you hear everybody that's watched him really extensively in practices and things like that and interacted with him a lot, everybody says like, this guy is operating in a way that he's just it's just different. He's a different dude. And your window is kind of opening. And to get in this upcoming year where it could potentially, if you don't have the guys to block him, it could be a waste, so to speak. I don't want to be hyperbolic there because I think any year with a guy of this caliber is not going to be a waste necessarily, but you would be doing him a little bit of a disservice there. Lance Hurd is just so huge. And to what we were just talking about, bringing back all the rest of the guys on the offensive line, massive. Otherwise, outside of that, yeah, I mean, Stays is really good. As a Titans fan, I like that they're getting a defensive back from MTSU. Sadly, I guess Kevin Byard no longer plays for the Titans, but he did for a really long time, and I loved him, and he was from MTSU. So I'm hoping that Jacoby Thomas can be a guy like that. But just, yeah, I mean, him, the kid from Temple, you would talk about a position of need. I mean, the defensive backs, you're starting over from clean slate there. And so I think that's huge. And otherwise, well, I don't want to just name off everybody. I could, if you want to throw it to Zach here too, but I like everybody.
Yeah. Good luck, Zach. Who do you like? Do you like the kid that transferred in that's a walk-on? Is that who you're going with, Zach?
Yeah, the
you're going to take Eli Purcell. Eli Purcell from Farragut.
I like
no rankings.
I like Jermod McCoy a lot.
There you go.
Oregon State cornerback. He was a true freshman last season and played a pretty decent amount for them. Had a couple of interceptions, some 6-7 pass breakups. You play as a corner as a true freshman in any conference. That's pretty impressive. So we know how that was in the secondary last season. We know the problems that we've seen at cornerback at times, especially after Kamal Hadden got hurt and missed the last few games of the season. I really wish that guy was able to come back. I've spent hours trying to understand Kamal Hadden's eligibility and why that guy does not have another year, and I cannot make it make sense. But I think McCoy's a guy that hopefully can step up maybe into a starting role there. Who knows with the way, Tim Bates and Willie Martinez like to rotate guys there. They really like some experience, but maybe McCoy's a guy that flashes here in spring practice and can lock down one of those spots. But I thought that was a really solid under the radar addition that's not going to grab the headlines. It's not Caleb Downs going to Ohio State or anything like that, but I think it's a move that we get into the season. But hey, really glad we found this guy.
If you guys missed it, we did a film breakdown on Jermod McCoy. Everybody in the chat, if you didn't see that, go back, give it a watch. Coach Jay, really high on Jermod McCoy. I think it's going to be McCoy and Ricky Gibson starting at the corner positions. We got 515 people watching live right now. Guys, we've raised $5,956 for the Fisher House Foundation. We got a couple of more anonymous, did I say a couple of more? A couple of more, Boogie said. Anonymous donations coming in. Richard Griffin donated $20. We appreciate that, Richard. Robert drops 100. Appreciate you, Robert. You're the man. Appreciate the way that you guys support this channel. Matthew May donates $50 as well. That is not cheap. We appreciate you guys. Chris Brown donates $25. We got another anonymous donation for $20. Let's see. Am I caught up? No, I'm not. Why? It drives me nuts. It keeps refreshing. StreamYard is getting an email from me. Backyard Smoking and Grilling with Will. That sounds like a YouTube channel that I would watch. Backyard Smoking and Grilling with Will. That sounds like you got a beer in your hand and some type of barbecue. He donates $20. We appreciate that. Noah James donates $5. Thank you, Noah. We appreciate it. Negaval donates $25. Thank you, Negaval. We're all caught up almost to 6,000. I changed the goal, guys. I changed the goal. The goal is now 10,000. We're almost to 6,000. Let's make it happen. If you're watching the replay, you can still donate. The donate button is down below. It's going to stay that way for about a week. You guys can continue to contribute to the Fisher House Foundation. We would appreciate it. Hanging out with Charlie Burrs, Zach Reagan from AtoZ Sports, the Big Orange Podcast every Wednesday. I'm sorry, I've got 18 people I'm accountable for. Every Wednesday, right?
Mondays.
Yeah, Monday. Yeah, see. I shouldn't even act like I know because again, I asked my daughter, picked her up from high school today, and I was like, what would you do if you had to give a presentation in front of your classmates and you were accountable for 18 people and you were going to have to talk for 3 hours? She said, no, I'm not about that life. And then she said something like bruh and YOLO and bruh and on God and something else. I don't know what I never know what she's talking about. Mondays, what time's the Big Orange Podcast dropping?
That's at 7 p.m. Eastern time on Mondays. Honestly, the clips of the show, which are posted on the AtoZ Sports Nashville YouTube channel, that's what really does numbers for us. It's probably a sign that we should just do clips, but we do a full live show at 7 p.m. on Mondays, and you can come hang out with us just like this. And then, of course, that's posted as a podcast. And like I said, we also post clips of it too.
You're good at business. That's why you post clips. See, I don't do that. Maybe one day I will learn from you guys. Let's talk about expectations 2024. I've said it a couple of times in the show tonight. I think there's more pressure on Nico than maybe any other quarterback in the country. I think that kid is under so much pressure. I also think he's ready for the pressure. You mentioned, all the people that have been around him and know him. Anybody familiar with this channel knows that Coach J has been around and knows Coach P, who coached Nico in high school. He also coached Bryce Young. He called Nico a Heisman Trophy winner. He called Nico a first-round NFL draft pick. That's a guy that's coached high school football for over 20 years. He coached a lot of talented dudes. Nico is him. Nico is that guy. A lot of pressure on the kid, though. Heupel's guys are now upperclassmen. James Pierce, Tyree West, Dylan Sampson. I think Dylan Sampson's trying to take that leadership role, right? Squirrel White, Elijah Herring. As much as we cringed at some of his play last year, he's an upperclassman. Joshua Josephs. This is the year for Heupel. Zach, do you feel like there's more pressure? Do you feel like this is, as a fan, I said earlier, I believed in every coach here. I feel like 2024 is the year we find out if Hype's the guy or not.
Yeah, I definitely think there's a ton of pressure on Heupel, Nico, like you said. It lines up well, though, with the expanded playoffs. So you can 2022, you drop that South Carolina game, you're still probably in the expanded playoff, right? So you've got a little bit of room for error. I kind of look at it, though, as specific games. I look at the Florida game. It's a must-win game. You cannot lose to Billy Napier with a second year in a row with everything going on down there. Seems like he might not be down there for much longer. We've seen that time and time again, these Tennessee coaches that can't get past the Will Muschamps, the Jim McElwains, Dan Mullen, guys that eventually get fired. Tennessee just hasn't had much luck against those guys. So you got to win that game. I think with Nick Saban retiring, that Alabama game has suddenly become a must-win game that you cannot lose to a first-year SEC coach, especially with so much roster turnover that they're experiencing. I know Kalen DeBoer has done a good job of filling some of those holes. I think they're only like 6 or 7 scholarships down. For all the talk about the situation that Alabama's been in with kids hitting the portal, their roster's still not in nearly as bad of a shape as Tennessee's was in 2021 when Josh Heupel took over. So I think that's a must-win game. I think that Oklahoma game is really going to be a defining game for Josh Heupel. It's going to be an emotional game. First time going back to Oklahoma since he was let go by Bob Stoops. He's probably going to get a standing ovation, a rousing ovation. I mean, he delivered their last national championship. Be like T. Martin, when he comes back to Tennessee. It's the type of reception that Heupel's going to get there. Where are his emotions at that day? Is it just win the game? Is he going to allow himself to kind of take some of that in? I think we'll learn a lot about him on that day. So those 3 games in particular, I feel are really pressure-filled games for Heupel, Nico, and the whole program.
I think the Oklahoma game is I made a video this morning. I think it's the turning point. I think the whole season hinges on that Oklahoma game. Let's continue, Charlie, talking about expectations, but also what's your way too early prediction? When you look at the schedule, what do you think about this upcoming season, where Tennessee's at? Is 10-2 and a college football playoff realistic? See what a good host I am. I don't send links. I don't know when your podcast drops, but I got the schedule just in case Charlie wasn't ready.
The schedule is definitely, I don't want to say it's easy or any stretch like that, but when you consider what some of the schedules have been in years past, I mean, the fact that you're sort of, well, they're not cross divisional anymore, are they? But that some of your SEC games are Mississippi State a year after firing their coach, 2 years after their coach passed away. I mean, they're in such a tough spot. Arkansas just looks like they're in a complete spiral. And then, Florida, you have them at home and it looks like they're in a complete spiral. Alabama with Nick Saban retiring, as Zach mentioned, NC State. I feel like that's going to be one of those kind of like with this bowl game with Iowa, where NC State, a lot of people are going to be like, oh man, NC State, they're pretty good in the ACC. And then it's, they're not as good as they're chalked up to be, which is basically what happened the last time we played NC State, the Tyler Bray. Cordell Patterson game. I mean, I feel like it was kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
They had some of that hype, and then Tennessee just ended up waxing them. This schedule, if you can get over those humps, like in that 11-2 season last year, if you can win that Alabama game, get yourself in position to win that one and get over that, and then just make it to where that Oklahoma and the Georgia game are the big swing games. Oklahoma specifically, I think that one's in Neyland. I feel really good about it. The fact that it's in Norman makes it scary, frankly. And to Zach's point, where it could be just weird emotionally for Heupel. And I mean, Georgia's Georgia. So I think it shapes up nicely, but you do have to say, like, it's not going to be some cakewalk. 10-2 is going to be, I think you're in the playoff, and it's extremely possible. I will say, because of how it falls just favorably, it's that Oklahoma game. I mean, to me, you win that Oklahoma game 10-2. You lose that Oklahoma game 9-3, and man, I don't know. I would lean 10-2 at this point, just because I was so encouraged by what we saw with Nico. That's my initial feeling, at least at the moment. I think there's still potentially bringing transfers and stuff after the spring, so who knows exactly what it'll look like. But that's my feeling right now.
It's exactly what I said this morning. It's like Oklahoma, you win 10-2, you lose 9-3. I'd want to say 10-2 so bad, and it's way too early. It's freaking January. Do you guys realize it's January and we got 555 people watching us talk about Tennessee football? That's how much hype there is. Guess what? It's gonna be good for business, boys, coming up this fall. Where are you at, Zach? What's your way too early prediction?
I'm not gonna go with Greg McElroy and 8-4 here. I don't know where that came from. And he said he thinks they beat Oklahoma, so I don't know where those losses come in. I think 10. I think 11-1 is possible if everything goes great and you don't. These last 2 years, Heupel has dropped some games in each of those years that we didn't think he was going to lose. Lost to South Carolina, and then last season that Missouri game I think caught us all by surprise the way that went down. So this, if everything gets put together this year, maybe this is the first time that you don't drop one of those surprise games. I don't think anybody's going to get mad at you for losing to Georgia. I think best case scenario there is 11-1. I'm more in the 10-2 camp, and I'm not sure. It could be a mixture of that Alabama, Florida, even though you should beat them. It's kind of like Charlie always says about Kentucky. Like, that's a win for Tennessee until it's not. And it's a win for Florida most of the time until it's not. So it would probably be one of those Oklahoma, Alabama, Florida games. I feel like if they lose that second game, I mean, 9-3 feels that they shouldn't go 9-3. I just don't think, unless there's some injuries. And again, that goes to the pressure that you said that's on this team going into this season. But I think it's like 10-2 or bust. I mean, that's kind of how not that I'm like out on Heupel or anything, because scenarios, situations, it goes way beyond wins and losses at some point. But I do feel like if you don't get to 10-2, they're going to look at it as a letdown, as a disappointment for the season. Not like this season, the 9-4, that felt reasonable, for what they had, everything that they lost to the NFL draft, which I just felt like at times did not get talked about enough. The amount of talent that they lost, the amount of talent that, Byron Young was on the all-rookie team, Darnell Wright on the all-rookie team, Jalen Hyatt played every single game. I mean, those guys mattered a lot. Your quarterback that probably would have been a first-round pick if he doesn't tear his ACL. So, this season it was okay. Going into 2024, anything less than 10-2 is going to feel like a real letdown to me.
I appreciate you guys coming on. AtoZ Sports, Charlie Burris, Zach Reagan. Where are we right now? We have raised almost $6,200 for the Fisher House Foundation. I love getting you guys on here talking ball. I feel like I'm cracking a beer, hanging out with my boys, right? It feels so laid back. I love what you guys do. Big fan of your show. You guys know that. I'm always, anytime I can get you guys on, I love to get you guys on and talk a little shop. So I appreciate you coming on. We'll let Charlie and then Zach send us out here. But I do appreciate you guys.
It's a pleasure as always. We seriously appreciate it. I'll just say to everybody watching, donate. Great cause. Dude, I love this. This is so cool. The fact that you've built something here that has this kind of power to create a charity event like this is really incredible, man. And I enjoy it every single time. This was a blast. Seriously. Thanks, man.
Yeah, definitely appreciate you having us on. Great calls. We were on last year. Look forward to, hopefully being on next year and many years beyond. It's a great cause and looking forward to this tradition continuing.
100%. We're going to keep it rolling. Appreciate you guys coming on. Go check out the Big Orange Podcast, AtoZ Sports, on Mondays. It comes out on Mondays. Go check it out. Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate it.
All right, we're going to continue rolling on. We've raised $6,183 because Reed Bacon, I feel like I'm taking advantage of Reed. I put Reed to work tonight. I made Reed do a little work, and then he follows it up with a $200 donation. He's a man of his word. He said, I'm going to get off here, I'm going to go, and I'm going to drop a donation. Reed dropped $200. We appreciate that. And then I love that you guys start dropping those bacon emojis right off of that donation. David Darrington dropped $7. We appreciate that, brother. Thank you for the donation. There is strength in numbers. Every donation is important. Every donation counts. There's 25,000 subscribers here. You drop $1. That's $25,000. Let's do it. We changed the goal. We moved the goalpost. That's what we do around here. We moved the goalpost. The goal is now $10,000. We're going to fail to meet our goal unless we raise another $4,000. Let's see. We got Dan Yoder for 20. Appreciate that, brother. Thank you for the donation. Josh Wilson donates $10. Thank you, Josh. We appreciate that. We are caught up. I didn't do too bad tonight, did I? Did I do too bad tonight? I told Sports Talk Jay, what I tell him, 8:45. I'm only 15 minutes behind. Let's get the man on it. Oh, he's got the YouTube in the background like a real boomer. I'm hearing myself promote myself. What's up, Jay? What's going on, brother?
Hey, man, I cannot hear you. Can you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear. Drop out.
I wonder what's going on.
The boomer.
I think if I leave the phone on.
Okay, now he can hear me. He's going to hear the echo. Drop out of the room.
Drop out and come back in? Okay.
Yes. All right, we'll get Sports Talk Jay right back on here in just a minute. Man, oh man, what a fun freaking night. What an epic night. Like, I'm thinking about trying to put the Middle East back together. You guys think I can repair the Middle East? Do you think I've got the power to do that? I mean, we got Volquest, Go Vols 247, the Swain event. Everybody's here. What's up, Jay? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
You can hear me?
I hear. Yep, I hear you.
But I can't hear you. That is so weird. Let me try something here. crap. I've never had a problem being on the show with you.
Mm-mm.
What the heck's causing this? The problem is if I go on here to hear you.
Yeah, it's an echo. We can't do that.
Oh, crap.
Everybody's this is great for business, though. MG Wade's having fun. Louisiana Ball's laughing.
Okay. Crap. I cannot hear you, and you can hear me, right? I can't.
I hear you
can hear
perfect.
me, right?
I hear you perfect.
Okay.
Reboot
I
it
don't
real
know
quick.
what's
Can you
happening
reboot?
here. Let me try something.
All right,
This has
sports.
Let me go into settings. It's got to be settings. Audio.
MG Wade says,
Let me
Boogie, stop.
try.
How do you want me to stop? I'm blow on it. Hit it. Punch it. Can Sports Talk Jay hear me now?
Still can't hear you.
The chat. Oh, the chat's undefeated. The chat is undefeated.
Try something. Doggone it.
All right, Sports Talk Jay is going to try to fix it. That's all right. That's all right. This is the beauty of a charity stream. It's almost like a fan call-in show. You never know what is going to happen. Let's see here. Where are we? We got that $10 from Josh Will. We got an anonymous donation for 20. George Edley donates 20. We appreciate that. We got an anonymous for 5. Thank you for that. Coach Jay getting in where he fits in. $100. Thank you, Coach Jay. You're the man. We appreciate you. We got an anonymous $10 donation. We appreciate that. We're caught up, I think. Yes, we are caught up. Almost $6,400 raised. So we appreciate you guys. Keep those super chats coming. Keep them coming in. Amber says, I love his good grief. Can you hear me now?
I unplugged the speaker, hoping I could hear through the.
Try to reboot. Can you reboot?
Do that. And I'm not.
I feel like I'm talking to a deaf person, and then you just scream louder.
I'm so sorry, BVD. I'm sorry.
He called me BVD.
I don't know what's happening, Boogie.
He called me BVD. Can you believe this? Can you believe this?
You know what? I'm going to try my phone.
Let's do that.
I'll get it through my phone, okay? Sorry
Let's do
about
that. All right, let's see if his phone works. Can you believe he just called me BVD? Take out your Nintendo game, blow in it, and then put it back in. Big Orange Mountain says, Jay pre-recorded this. Fake can't hear you. Jay got this. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna talk to Sports Talk Jay. Maybe he really does hate me. Maybe you guys are right. Sports Talk Jay hates me, and he is trying to derail the charity stream. Is that what's happening here? Is that what's going on? How you guys doing tonight? Have you guys enjoyed tonight? Have you guys enjoyed all the work that went into this? All the people behind the scenes that put in the work, from Volquest to Swain to Ben McKee to Pancakes and Bacon to AtoZ Sports, now Sports Talk Jay, the Talkin VAWLS crew coming up next. Have you guys enjoyed the night? I hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed it. You don't realize how much work went in behind the scenes. How many people are willing to say, you know what? Let's all come together on the same platform. It's crazy, right? For Volquest and Go Vols 247 to come on the same show because they understand it's bigger than us. It's bigger than Tennessee football. Like that's what it's all about. That's what we're here to do. So I hope you guys are enjoying the night. If you're new to the channel, you don't know what the Talkin VAWLS Network is about. It's for the fans, by the fans. We're a bunch of die-hard, psychotic, passionate fans. It's like I told Kyler and Reed earlier. You know, we just jump on and we talk. We don't know any more than anybody else. Is Sports Talk Jay good to go? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now, buddy.
We are ready. Look at that beautiful green screen. Look at
I am sorry about this, folks. I know this sucks.
You don't have all your bells and whistles. You don't have that beautiful green screen.
You know, I'm gonna tell you what it is. I think I got a new computer the other day, and I think that's I'm used to the old computer, and I think I've got something screwed up.
Coach Jay says we're behind the scenes. We get to see what really goes on in Sports Talk Jay in this background. Hey,
it's all magic and mirrors and crap.
I am glad you're here nonetheless. It doesn't matter if we got a cell phone or what the situation is. We're here for a good cause, and I appreciate you jumping on, man. Although people, if you don't, when is the last time we streamed together?
Oh, it's been months.
It's been a long time, and when you're not on air together, people think you hate each other. Did you know there's a narrative floating around that we hate each other? It's the internet's a weird world. It's a weird
I haven't heard that. I don't know where that would come from.
It probably comes from me because sometimes I like to bust your balls. I like to tell jokes if somebody says something. I'm like, what is Jay up to over there? And then they immediately take it as Boogie hates sports talk, Jay. No, look, I admire you. I respect you. I told you that when I texted you the other day. You've had a great year, man. Your channel is blowing up, and it excites me because you bust your tail, you work your butt off. I wanted to get you and BVD back on. BVD, send him a text. It's his birthday. He's doing a birthday stream. He's like, man, I can't make it. I wanted to get the band back together for this, but we'll catch up with BVD soon enough. But you guys all know who Sports Talk Jay is, so he needs no introduction. You can go give him a sub over on his channel, Sports Talk Jay channel. What are your expectations? I'm talking expectations with AtoZ Sports. What are your expectations for 2024, 2025? The way the roster's kind of, shaking out. The back half on defense is completely different, but you're looking at returning all your offensive linemen, all your defensive linemen for the most part, and then it's the Nico era. How's your confidence right now in January?
It couldn't be better, honestly. I feel like this is 2022 all over again, only I know it's 2022 because I didn't know that at the time that we had that great year, but that's what it feels like to me. I think Nico is going to be a Hendon Hooker type of player. He's clearly got a nose for the end zone. I mean, he scored 4 touchdowns in his first game ever as a starter, which is fantastic. I feel great about that. I like the fact we've got the offensive line squared away, picked up that big offensive tackle in Lance Hurd, which was huge. Just got Spraggins back in there at the guard position. I feel like we need one more guard and we need maybe one more defensive back or two, and I think we're golden. I feel great about this season coming up.
What do you think about, because right now you talk about guard. They were trying to target, the guard from Washington. Sounds like that's not going to happen. So you're looking at Andres Carrick. You're looking at Jackson Lampley. But what do you think about Shamrod Umrov? They recruited him as a tackle. There's a lot of buzz that he could slide into that guard position. Would you have confidence there or still think they need to go get a guard in the portal?
I'd like to have one more guard just in case, but I feel pretty good about it all in all. Just one more guard maybe as just as an insurance policy, but overall I feel pretty good about it.
What do you think about the defense? I think the defensive line, Reed earlier from Pancakes and Bacon makes me a little nervous talking about the linebacker play. I think Keenan Peely's a baller. I'm excited that Keenan Peely's back. Obviously, I think the room is better with him, his maturity, his leadership, and Reed brought up a good point. We didn't see him a whole lot, right? We didn't see him a whole lot in 2023. I'm still excited about him. I think Arian Carter is going to take the next step. So does a guy like Jalen Smith or does a guy like Jeremiah Thielander come along, or is it Elijah Herring again, who a lot of people were frustrated with? But for me, I look at this Tim Banks defense, and I've said it multiple times. I said it earlier in the show. They've gotten better and better and better every year. Top 25 scoring defense in 2023. You give me the 2022 offense with the 2023 defense, guess what, Jay? We're winning another 11 games. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. It was the offense that created problems. But how do you feel about the defense going into 2024?
My only concern is defensive backfield. I feel great about the defensive line. I think they're going to be fantastic. You've got James Pierce coming off the edge. You've got so many fine edge players. I couldn't be more excited about the defensive line. We stopped the run beautifully. We were actually the best against the run. Basically, in the SEC, I think we finished maybe second. I think we were 1 yard from being first against the run. And so, I mean, what more could you want from that? And then as far as putting pressure on the quarterbacks, we did a beautiful job at that. We put a ton of pressure on the quarterbacks, not as much as we'd ever like. I mean, you never can put enough pressure, but we did fine there. It's just our secondary was, well, I mean, look, they're all gone. So we'll see what we're dealing with. And here's the thing about the game that we had with Iowa. Their offense was very pedestrian. They didn't have their starting quarterback. And that guy, he couldn't run very well, and his arm was suspect. And then the receivers didn't help him any. So I'm wondering if that's not going to put us to sleep on the defensive backfield. Had we played a really good offensive team, maybe we're sitting there going, oh, crap, we better get some guys.
Yeah, but for me, that game, it's like, I'm probably my biggest concern on this team is the secondary, like, period. And Swain was on here earlier talking about the wide receivers, and I am a little concerned about wide receiver play, but I swear, it's a combination, right? It's a combination of Joe and the wide receivers. I think the offense is going to be okay, but the secondary does concern me moving ahead. But I'm also excited, man. I'm excited about Ricky Gibson. It's a true freshman that earned his way onto the field. I think Jermod McCoy is going to be a dude. What does concern me is staying healthy. Staying healthy for this football team in 2024, whether that be on the offensive line, in the secondary, wherever the case. I'm interested to see if they look to add more guys in the spring, portal window. But typically you don't get as talented of players in that window, right? So that is a concern to me. But what more do you want, right? With Tennessee and Iowa in the bowl game, their offense didn't score. It was 35-0. That was domination, total domination, right? I mean, you got to come out of that game happy. And people that want to criticize Nico and they want to talk about his throwing stats and what his completion percentage was and all this stuff, look at the difference he made in the red zone. What would you say? He had 3 touchdowns on the ground. That was more. What did Iowa give up 3 the entire year? Was that what the stat was?
Yeah, he's got a nose for the end zone, and he's got a knack. And it reminds me very much, he's actually more fluid than Hendon. Hendon was very sudden and had a great nose for the end zone, whereas this guy, he kind of reminds me of Bryce Young, a taller Bryce Young. He's got a little bit of magic about him, and he has a great nose for the end zone. That's his opening game, and he scores 4 touchdowns, 3 on the ground. That's just amazing. Couldn't have been more pleased with his play, and he would have had over 200 yards had a receiver not lost the ball in the sun, which is, that was a beautiful pass. It was a dime, and he was doing it the whole time, running for his life. He had 6 sacks on him.
So many people want to talk about the offensive line too, because of that game. You had Cooper Mays in your second string. That's not what this offensive line is going to look like in 2024. Everybody's back. You're upgrading by adding Lance Hurd. I get it, right? It's a physical, violent game. We could have more injuries, right? That's something that could happen in 2024. But I'm not basing my offensive line play for 2024 off of a bowl game that had a bunch of backups out there. I just don't think that's a fair judgment for what this offensive line is going to look like in 2024.
Yeah, I would definitely feel like we didn't have what we're going to have next year. We had 3 offensive linemen out, 2 are injured, and we just had a lot of issues going into that game. And then also to give a little bit of credit to the offensive line, realize, Nico's very first game, he's probably not going to read things nearly as fast as he will in the future. So he might have been a little bit, a little slower than what we'd expect him once he's had a few games under his belt. Normally, if you start a guy like that, you're going to start him against Akron, or you're going to start him against some small school. You're not going to start him against a top 10 defense. But that's what we wound up doing because that's how the bowl games work. If you'll notice, Ohio State put a freshman in there. They scored 3 points. There was another team, Florida State started a freshman. They scored 3 points. We put a freshman in first game. He scores 35 or 28.
Yeah, James Pierce. Give him really the defense scored 14 points if we're being honest.
That's true. Yeah.
But that turnover down on the goal line, I'm like, if Joe Milton's the quarterback, no disrespect, we don't call players out by name here, Joe. But if he's the quarterback, is that a guaranteed touchdown?
It could have been a field goal.
Could have been. It could have been. They struggled in the red zone, but the play call with Nico was perfect. I like how Heupel's like, well, I wish he would have thrown the ball instead of getting killed, but a touchdown's a touchdown. But it's not a guarantee with Joe, and I think it is a guarantee with Nico. He's so, like you said, it's magical. What he does with the football is magical, and that excites me for 2024. We got 516 people still watching live. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Smash the thumbs up. I've not asked you guys for anything. I don't want memberships. I'm not even asking you to subscribe. But you could share the link out. Put it on Facebook, put it on Twitter, put it on Instagram. Let people know about this live stream. Hopefully they will come back and watch the rewatch because the donation button will be open for a week. Right now, Jay, do you realize right now we have raised $6,833? Look, you're just like me, right? Same vision. Same dude, like just a regular dude. And we have built these platforms, and we come together Like, did you ever think, like me, like I said, me, you, BVD, we're like-minded, right? Same vision, same deal, like just regular dudes. We've had Volquest on. We've had GoVols 247 on. We've had the Swain event on. We've had Kyler Curbison on. Is this a little weird for you that we're all a part of this together?
Well, it's funny. All the guys that you had on are guys I've watched a ton of. I mean, seriously, I was just sitting here thinking, AtoZ, Zach Reagan, I read all his stuff.
I love Zach. He's great.
Yeah,
Zach's
he's just a very good writer. And I sit here and I look at just so many of them. I've watched all the Volquest 247. I watch all that stuff so much and I read it all. So that's just a great conglomeration of individuals that make up the Vol scene as it was. And I don't know. I feel like I know them, even though I've never worked with them on any level. You're the only one really that I have, you and BVD a little bit and that sort of thing. But I haven't worked with any of these guys, but I feel like I know them because I read so much stuff that they've done and watched so much of their videos.
But we're their equals. You realize that, right?
I don't know what I am. I haven't figured it out.
I think you're figuring it out. You're the next Matt B. Great. I'm going to lecture you. I'm going to lecture you right now live on air. Right live on air.
All right.
You are so much bigger than me. You're so much bigger than Tennessee football. Like I think if you start covering national college football, you're already doing it, man. You're going to pass me by probably in 2024. Do what you're doing. It's working, man. And like I said, when you first came on, I'm proud of you, man. I think it's awesome that you have kind of branched out and you're talking about other things. Look, drama sells. Talk about the drama of college football. Your channel is going to continue to blow up. Everybody knows you're a Tennessee fan. Everybody knows you're a diehard Tennessee fan. But you do whatever makes you – and you've told me that before. You're like, Boogie, I do whatever the hell makes me happy. And I love that about you. You're like, I'm just going to do what I like, and if people like it, they like it. And if they don't, they don't. That's it.
It really boils down to the fact that the Vols are my passion, but I love college football. I really enjoy and I like all the stuff that's going on with the national championship, the Michigan – the Florida State thing, I don't know why that intrigues me so much. The Florida State mess with the ACC, that intrigues me. And then, of course, Florida always intrigues me because I like watching them because they're such my nemesis. But I don't know. I'm just kind of trying to figure it out and doing what I enjoy doing. But I don't know. I just love the ball so much. I feel like I got really lucky in starting this channel right when Josh Heupel got there. I wish I'd have been there the first year, but I was there the second year. And he is just, I don't know what I'll do if he ever leaves. I enjoy what he does as a coach so much, and that offense is super exciting. It's going to be hard for me ever to go back. And if we have like a pedestrian offense, I don't know that I could cover in Iowa. Iowa's just that offense drives me nuts. I love the scoring.
Are you speaking this into existence? Like, why are we talking? Please don't speak this into existence. I can't handle it because even when Tennessee loses, it's fun to watch, right? For the most part.
Well,
go ahead.
Think about 2021. 2021 is the greatest year as far as enjoyment and entertainment that I've had in a long, long time with the Vols. That year was amazing, and we were 7-6.
Yeah. I see Coach Jay in the chat saying it's true. Jay, he says it all the time. Coach Jay giving me validation for putting you over for the way you're branching out. Look, I call a spade a spade. I like what Sports Talk Jay is doing. Let me catch up. We have raised almost $7,000. We're at $6,958. Desolation Destination drops a 20 spot. We appreciate that. Dauber is in the house, co-host of the Talkin VAWLS Network. My ride or die, the guy that has my back when people try to divide and conquer. Dauber drops $225. Shout out Dauber. We appreciate that. MG Way for 20. Appreciate that donation. Let me scroll on down. We got an anonymous for 20. Appreciate that as well. Dylan Elam donates $50. We appreciate that, Dylan. The X Factor. X dropped another 100. X is dropping just multiple donations. X, are you drinking? X might be drinking. He's like, have I donated yet? I don't remember, but I'll drop another 100. I appreciate it, X. Michael Brent donates 50. We appreciate that, Michael. Thank you for the $50. We got another anonymous here for 50, and we got another anonymous for 20. Appreciate those donations as well. Celia Hall donates $20. Thank you, Celia, we're almost to $7,000. We appreciate the support. The last thing, and we're going to get you out the door here, Coach. See, I thought you were Coach Jay. You're Sports Talk Jay. George McIntyre, number 1 player in the state of Tennessee, 5-star quarterback commits. How much does this fire you up knowing that we got Nico for probably 2, and then George is the quarterback in waiting? And by the way, we also got Jake Merklinger, who is a competitor. He ain't going away quietly. He's going to compete. He wants that starting job. That excites me.
Well, I would think if I was a high school quarterback, that I would want to go where the quarterback is the key. And in Josh Heupel's offense and on this team, the quarterback is the key position. Now, it is on every team. I understand that, but it's really important here. And he has a chance to shine, and that's going to keep bringing in now you won't get one every year because it's really hard to have 5-star after 5-star because they know they're going to have to sit. And we are not in a sit world anymore. We are the furthest thing from that. You can leave tomorrow, basically, the way things are set up, if you're not getting to play, which on some level I really like. On another level, it's a little bit annoying. But we're going to continue to have 5-star after 5-star come in and play in this offense because it's super exciting. It's fast. You're in total control, and you can do what you want with that offense. You have so many options that it's the most exciting offense I've ever seen in football ever. And I mean ever. I love it. And it's going to keep bringing in the 5-stars and the wide receivers. I don't know how Ohio State's getting more 5-stars than we are at wide receiver. I know they score a lot, but darn, I'd want to play in a Heupel offense if I was a wide receiver.
I think the class of 25 is going to be very interesting because there is a ton of talent at the wide receiver position. And, I've made multiple videos on it, but I think George just has more reach in the Southeast than Nico did. I think all of his connections were with the West Coast, and it worked, right? He still made the connections. He still got guys here. I think Nico's having more of an impact in the portal with a guy like Lance Hurd than maybe he had in recruiting high school kids. I think George just has those connections, man. There's a picture out there, and it's George, it's David Sanders, it's French, and there's somebody else that I can't remember. They're all on a visit to Alabama, and it's like now George is recruiting them all to Tennessee. So I think the future's bright, my man. I think we got great days ahead of us covering Tennessee football on YouTube. You guys know the deal. If you haven't done it already, all of you have already done it. I already know. You're all already subscribed to Sports Talk Jay. Go give him a sub on his YouTube channel, talking all things Tennessee football, all things college football. Sports Talk Jay, you're the man. I do want to say this. I've not forgot. You're going to fix my golf game as soon as the Tims come up. And Coach Rice, I don't know if you know who he is. He's a co-host on the show. He's a scratch golfer. And he's like, I want to go too, but he's from West Tennessee. I'm like, all right, we'll meet up. And you and Coach Rice are going to try to fix my golf game.
I have watched Coach Rice on your program. You have him usually with Coach Jay. And I really like Coach Jay, man. He knows his stuff. And usually when you have y'all three together, it's very interesting and quite entertaining. And I learn a lot. I learn a lot from Coach Jay and you guys talking all that, especially when you break down the film. It's very interesting.
I hope you're ready to fix my golf game, though. It's a train wreck.
Golf is not. It is it's not like any other sport. It's kind of insane. It really gets in your head real bad. It just kind of is what it is. You almost. I don't have all the answers for golf. I never will. I can't even fix all my stuff, but I would try. I would give it my best effort to help you.
Well, we're going to break the internet like we are tonight because I'm going to come down. We're going to hang out. We're going to play some golf. I'm going to hold you to that. You're going to fix.
Well,
my
maybe
golf
one
game.
day you'll do this into a charity golf tournament or something. I'd be glad to because we talked about that at one time.
I know. I was talking to the guy that came on from Fisher House Foundation earlier in the night. I was like, how many people do golf tournaments for you? He was like, a ton. And I was like, man, I used to do a charity golf tournament for the American Cancer Society. I've been thinking about doing it. He's like, oh, yeah, we would love to have it. And it's just like, I want to do it. It's just like, do I really want that extra layer of work? Maybe.
It would be a ton of work. And you're already doing, you did all this, putting everybody together. And that's a lot of work trying to, basically, you're herding cats is what you're doing. Yeah. So I appreciate that you did this for the Fisher House, and I know it's a lot of effort. So hats off to you for that.
But I love it, man. I love it. If we do a charity golf tournament, it'll be awesome. It'll be awesome. You got to auction off to play with Sports Talk Jay. You got to auction off to play with Austin Price. It'll be a lot of fun. Something I'm kicking around. We'll see what happens. Jay, I appreciate you, brother. It's always a good time talking ball football with you. Glad to have you back on the show. Go give him a sub, Sports Talk Jay on YouTube. The floor is yours if you want to say anything on the way out the door, but I do appreciate you, brother.
No, sorry, we had a little problem here. Like I said, I'm not a computer expert by any stretch, but I appreciate you doing this, Boogie. It's a great, fantastic cause, and I'm glad that you were able to beat your goal. Clearly, you beat the goal by quite a bit, and I think that's terrific. And I can't wait for this year. I think this is going to be a fantastic season. I'm very excited about it.
Appreciate you, brother. We will we'll catch up soon. Maybe we can do some crossover stuff moving forward. Appreciate you, man.
Okay, see you
later, buddy. All right, Sports Talk Jay, go give him a sub on YouTube. We are 2.5 hours into this stream, but I'm having a good time, man. Having a good time. I'm not tired at all. I'm having a great time being here with you guys. We got an anonymous donation for $100. We appreciate that. Parker Townsend drops a 50 spot. Man, gosh, it's driving me nuts how this keeps refreshing, and I have to scroll back up. Parker for 50. We appreciate it. The Ambassador, Trey, dropped $75. Shout out, Trey. We appreciate it. Carl Balaban, he changed his name so I would know, drops $20. We appreciate that. Michelle, the Ultimate Lurker, Michelle Emmons drops $800. I don't know how much she's donated now. I think it's getting close. Is it $1,800? She has donated so much money last night, this morning, and now tonight, $800. Easily the top donation. Shout out, Michelle. We are over $8,000. Can we get to 10K by the end of the night? We're turning it over to the Talkin VAWLS family. Can we get to 10K? It's not too late. Share out the link. You guys have power. Go to Twitter, go to Facebook, go to Instagram. Post this live stream. Do it now. Post it early. Post it often. Post it twice. And let's see if we can get to $10,000 tonight. All right. Let's bring the boys on. I don't know what's going to happen with Coach Rice. I just got a blank clocking window for Coach Rice.
Okay.
Is he dead? Is he dead?
What up? What's
going
family?
on?
What's
happening,
good,
fellas?
family? Not much.
The wheels
Chilling.
have fallen off. Ryan says, all right, you guys have asked, you've begged, you've yelled at me the entire night. Boogie, we've raised $8,000. Play the damn clip. Here's the clip. All right, here's the clip.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man.
I feel like that is worth playing.
It is.
I think Coach Rice is dead. I'm going to remove him from the stream. Coach Rice, if you're listening, try to reset your internet. See if you can come back in here. Man, what a fun freaking night. Coach Jay, you jealous? Reed and Kyler are going to replace you?
I'm very jealous, man. Like I said in that comment, it is not easy to break down film without a laser pointer, without the play pause button. It's a little tricky, man. You're just used to a certain way of doing it when you're in a film room. So it definitely takes a second to get accustomed to, man. But it's awesome having them on there. I love the Pancakes and Bacon show. Obviously it's very cool that Kyler played there, but they just got great chemistry and a true example of some true volunteer fans. But hey, that's been everyone tonight. It's been an awesome night. The fans have showed up and showed out. Awesome, man. Awesome community. So super proud of everyone.
Got to get that last push, though. Let's go.
Yeah, we're close, man.
There you go.
10K, come on, let's get it.
Can we hit 10K? Can we hit 10K? By the end of the night, we're $2,000 away. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think
like we need that room of people on telephones behind us. Taking donations in the 80s.
Hey, don't count out Michelle, man. Don't count her out.
He's killed it tonight.
She's killed it.
Yeah, what in the world, man? Y'all are insane. I love it though. Like it's. I was talking to my wife before tonight. I was like, it's kind of frustrating. Like last year, right? The Alabama game, people were throwing money at us left and right. So I was like, oh, for the charity stream, we'll easily make 10K, and we raised $3,000. I play video games and tell stupid jokes. Look, he's been done.
I got laid on there.
Oh man,
I see.
That's worth $2,000 right there.
There you go. There you
He got
go.
that from the Nico.
That's right.
The Nico website.
There you go.
Dude, I tried to,
That's awesome.
I've told this story. I've told this story before on air. I don't know how many people caught it. By the way, y'all throw money at me to play video games. We can do this for charity. I texted Coach Jay and I said, I appreciate all you do. I saw this Nico hat and it looks sweet. I was going to buy it for you. He was like, I miss this Coach Jay. I was going to try to buy it too, and it's out of stock. And I'm like, well, I'm glad the two people that love you the most were trying to buy you the same present. John Mills in the chat says, I gave my 50. I'll throw another 25 if you play the Kentucky clip.
Mark Stoops is 2-9 against this team, and to walk around this place before the game, I was disgusted. The smugness of those guys just walking around like, we're going to walk in here, we're going to kick your ass, and you can't do anything about it. And it made me sick. And you know what? They did it. They still did it. What the hell? Can we just beat this team? I know that Mark Stoops has done a lot of good things. This is his one really bad thing. The stupid stat about beating teams with a winning record and taking the next step and blah, blah. Just freaking beat Tennessee. Please, can we just stop losing to this stupid team with their stupid orange color, their stupid...
Matt's in the comments saying, Mincy enjoyed this. Matt, what'd you think? Mincy thinks they're going to go 11-1 at Kentucky. What do you think about that?
He's insane, man. That's what I think. 2-9. No, I mean, you feel good for a kid who goes and picks up what he wants, but the way we talked about it last time, you can't beg for forgiveness and from the Tennessee community and then go out and trash the Tennessee community. It doesn't work that way, right? And I was there the last time that Kentucky came in to Knoxville, and we'll be there again, and we're going to whip their ass again. I can't wait.
11-1, Jell Mincy. What do you guys think about that, Dauber? What do you think about a guy that's upset that Vol Nation's attacking him? He's played for Florida, Tennessee, and Kentucky in his career, and I like having Swain on earlier.
That's exactly where I was going. Swain nailed it.
But getting the player perspective of being able to transfer, but going from Florida to Tennessee to Kentucky, that's a problem.
He nailed it. He said, you're running from adversity, running from, possibly losing your position, losing your spot. You gotta. Sometimes you got to have somebody pushing you to be better. And if you don't have that drive, man, I don't know that I want you here in Knoxville. That's where you need to go is Kentucky, because they breed losers up there. So let's go.
All I gotta say is Vols by 50. That's all I gotta say.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
is that what your shirt says too, there, Coach Russ?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Every day, I breathe it. I take it in. I bleed the orange. It's everything. It's everything.
I wore it yesterday, Coach Rice.
Yes, yes. Hey, I'm telling you, y'all, this tonight has made me so hyped. I'm telling you, the foundation, the charity, everybody coming on.
Yeah, this is awesome. It's like Boogie. It's like this is like the Avengers Endgame movie.
Yes,
it's like the whole Tennessee committee just came in just to give a donation to the Fisher House. So like I said, this is awesome, man. It does. It feels like we're in a Marvel movie. It feels like
yes.
Yeah. You know what the beautiful thing about it is? Like, this is the Talkin VAWLS family right now. These are the guys that host the Talkin VAWLS network, whether it's post-game shows, Wednesday night shows, fan call-in shows. This is the heartbeat. We're missing a couple of characters. I gave them the invite. They had stuff going on. They couldn't make it on. It is what it is. But this is the heartbeat. And you know what we all have in common? We're not media. We have no bias. We're not hold to some standard, right? We don't have an agenda. Nobody controls us. Y'all don't come on and I say, you're going to say this or we're going to have a problem. Everybody here has a voice, the voice of the voiceless. That's what the Talkin VAWLS network is. It's for the fans, by the fans. Is Volquest going to do a charity? I appreciate everybody that came on. I love them. I support them. I appreciate them. Is Volquest going to do a charity stream and invite Talkin VAWLS on? Are they going to invite Go Balls 247 on? Is Go Balls 247 going to invite Volquest on? Is Pancakes and Bacon? No. I'm going to put the Middle East back together because only we can do that. That's why Talkin VAWLS Network has 25,000 subscribers and the rest of them are chasing. They're chasing because this is the heartbeat of Tennessee football. Only we, the 6 of us, all of you in the chat, the 458 people watching live, only we can do this. And we're doing it for a good cause. We're doing it for the Fisher House Foundation. Let's do it. Let's get in where you fit in. Where we at? We're at $8,053. Can we raise $2,000? Can we raise $2,000 in the next 30 minutes to an hour? I have no idea how long I'm going to. I've been live for 2.5 hours. I'm running out of steam.
Where am I?
I can't formulate sentences. Let's do this. Let's talk about the Fisher House Foundation, right? Man, it was so cool. Like I felt weird because I was trying to get everything ready. And then all of a sudden, Brian pops in. He's trying to eat supper. He's so busy. He's been traveling. And I'm like, he's in the back room eating. I'm like, should I go ahead and add him and like talk to him like 20 minutes early? So he's eating in the background. I'm like, I'm just going to wait. He's just back there eating and wiping his mouth and doing all this stuff. And I'm like, he has no clue that I can see him. No clue. But I was reading his bio, man, a dude that served in the military for 28 years and hearing his stories and hearing the story about, the way the Fisher House Foundation impacted him, a guy that served and now he's giving back. Any of you guys, let's go around the room. And if you just want to say no and pass, it's kind of like that prayer circle. It's like you squeeze my hand if you don't have something to say, and then you will just rotate to the next guy. Does this charity mean something to you? Does anybody in your family serve? I've told my story many a time. I'm not going to tell it again. Right as I say that, John Mills says, can you tell the story of your brother? Probably not, because, man, just watching the intro video that I made, tears in my eyes multiple times. I was like, I'm going to go live and I'm going to have to wait because it gets emotional, man. Watching those soldiers reconnect with their family members when they come back from tours. You guys know, most of you guys that are diehard Tennessee fans know the story of my little brother and what happened after his tours overseas. That's why this is passionate to me. That's why it means something to me. That's why we do this. But we'll start with Coach Jay. We'll go around the room. If you just want to say, no, I passed to Matt, and then you can pass to Coach Rice, whatever you guys want to do. What does Fisher House Foundation, the military, mean to you, Coach?
I mean, it means a lot to me. I've got a lot of family that has served. I've got family currently serving. My nephew's currently serving in the Marine Corps. Awesome to be able to go down there to Camp Pendleton and watch him graduate 2 years ago. It was a very great moment to kind of bring some family together and picnic and just appreciate everything you got. I have another nephew that just got out of the Navy, and then a little bit closer to my heart, my mom's father passed away a couple months ago after serving in the Navy. He was he worked in the engine room on a old diesel sub, pre-Korean War. Really tough guy, really smart guy, a lot of knowledge. Passed away when he passed away. Really, really funny guy too. The guy had every joke in the book, no doubt about it. So anything that can be done to make their lives easier is amazing, man. And they sacrifice so much, and their families sacrifice too. It takes a lot to work in the military, and then through work in my earlier life, my pre-football life, when I was kind of more in the professional world. I worked a lot with every branch of the military, so just super awesome to be able to get those guys back, because I'll tell you, sometimes they don't always feel like everyone's got their back. So just awesome stuff.
That's awesome,
Matt?
Coach Jay. Yeah,
Awesome.
It doesn't hit me as hard, but it does have a special place in my heart. I mean, a lot of friends and family growing up in Southwestern Virginia, especially on the friend side that entered in the military and just following their stories as they've gotten home safely, and those who unfortunately didn't. But the one that kind of hits closest to home was my grandfather, and ironically enough, Coach Jay also worked in an engine room,
Cool.
but more on the aviation side of the Army. So on the mechanical engineer side. So it was just really cool as a kid growing up and hearing all those stories. And we lost him way too early in life, as a lot of us have. But to know that you had, one of the mentors in your life serve for our country, it's just super cool to see what the Fisher House Foundation is doing for the military and what they continue to do and will continue to do. And the story he's told at the end about the gentleman from Tennessee was gut wrenching. So we really appreciate it, and shout out to all those who have served and continue to do so.
Yeah, I think personal stories, right? When it becomes real, right? When you put a face, that's why in that intro video, man, I put those clips because those are men and women that were gone, right? It's like in that, like World War II, man. That's the greatest generation. That's the greatest generation. But sometimes we forget. Guess what? There's a lot of 18-year-old kids that pack up and get shipped overseas and are doing the same thing that those World War II veterans have done. MG Way says, wow, I had no idea. It's been rough on our community. It's been rough. We've lost 10 guys to suicide than we could have lost to the enemy. It's not all combat related either. Thanks for bringing awareness. And that's the story with my little brother. Like he served overseas, multiple tours, came back. He was never the same, never learned how to function again. And he committed suicide. So that's
yeah, that's tough, man.
That's why we do.
Tough.
That's what this stream is all about. That's why I put so much heart.
Amen, man.
Thank you.
Amen. Yeah, no, that's real, man. That's real.
Go ahead, Coach Rice.
We're all family, bro. Yeah. We're all family.
Yeah. We all here for you, man. And we know this means a lot to you. We know this foundation means a lot to you. It's there's people been all throughout the chat all night saying how great this charity event is and what Talkin VAWLS means and what the Fisher House Foundation means for just their family and the stories been told behind. Not just here, but there's stories every day that affect the veterans and their families, and it's a thing that we as humans don't need to take for granted that we get to do something like this.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't have the opportunity to do this if it wasn't for our veterans and for our current troops and all the sacrifices they make for our country, and it's really for the world. I mean, if it wasn't for our the United States and their impact across the world would be a different place. So, and of course the military has a major impact on that. So I've had some family that's been in the military. I have several friends, and another one I'd like to say is, and Coach Jay, I know he can add on to this. I'm sure he's had some players go on after high school and join the Army, and I've had some students and some players that have gone on into the Army. I've actually, I'm not going to mention his name, but I had a player at the first school I taught at has been overseas and unfortunately lost his life putting the sacrifice for our flag. And and I tell his family all the time we appreciate every day what your son did for our country, and it hits the heart. It's something that we every day should be lifting up a prayer and praise and say thank you for all the sacrifices and the blood and tears and sweat that these Marines, Army, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, all these men and women do for this country. And it goes without saying how thankful I am and how much I love every single one. And I feel confident in saying that I love every single one of them because I know what they do, and I wouldn't be able to live my life the way I do if it wasn't for them.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
X.
Yeah. So with me, like I said, this whole charity event for me with the Fisher house, it holds really, really special to my heart because I do come from a military. Well, not me serving the military, but my family served in the military. From my dad was in the army, my stepdad was as well. He served in Desert Storm, and then went to my uncle Mike, who he recently just passed away about a year or so ago. Rest in peace to him. He served in the Marines. Going to, of course, the one person that really holds dearly to my heart, and when we was talking about World War II that he served is my great granddaddy. I lost him back in 2019, and just kind of hearing some of his stories because he served over into the Europe campaign. It's really, really touching, man. And Boogie, like what I was telling you, that one day, before you went to the Yukon game, spend it with your daughter and all that that's just the one thing that
Yeah.
in life that my granddaddy has always he said it not just to me but my whole family is that family is the number one thing in this world. And just hearing those words, it's yeah, it's thanks to him is I'm very, very, very sorry.
No, you good, dog. Hey, we say it all the time, like blood is blood, right? But football is family too. And,
Yeah.
and that's what makes Talkin Vols in this community so dang special, man. And that's what allows us to be able to do something like this. So
Oh
that's
yeah.
Amen, Coach
awesome,
Jay.
man. Isn't that cool? Right. Like
Oh
I think
yeah.
it's the coolest thing on earth.
And
Um,
X works at the
proud of it,
VA. Like
man.
you're surrounded by veterans every day,
Oh
brother. Like every
oh
day
yeah.
you're surrounded by veterans.
Oh yeah. So and that's the funny thing too with me working at the VA is that it gives me the opportunity to really give back to those veterans that gave to us. And it's actually funny because I said that when I was getting interviewed for my first job there. And that's what this is all about, man. It's all about. That's why I like. Yeah, sometimes my job can be a little frustrating and everything, but at the end of the day, when you realize why you're actually really doing this, it's because you're giving back to the soldiers that gave to you.
Yeah.
So that's why like I enjoy, working at the VA, doing what I do. And I really love, that my family served in the military and that they also shared stories with me and they taught me how to become a man in my life. I'm very, very blessed and very thankful. And also to you guys in the chat, if any of you guys served in the military, I
So
just want to
many.
say thank
Yeah.
Yep.
you.
Yep.
Seriously.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yep.
thank you for your service. Go ahead, like saying donate, donate, donate. Let's try to get that donation to 10K if we can. Shout out to the Fisher home. But yeah, man, just thank you to all the men and women that serve in our military today. And yeah, like I said, go Big Orange. Let's do it.
Dobber, you got screwed, brother.
Mm.
You got screwed, brother,
Man.
because two grown men have cried. Personal stories getting shared. You're last. Good luck.
Man,
Yeah.
Good luck, bro.
I've sat here for 15 minutes with a lump in my throat.
Good luck, man.
So
Terrible.
I've had both my grandfathers, one who I never met, and then my dad's dad served in the military. I'm now currently dating a woman who served in the Air Force. And she goes to the VA for stuff and has nothing but good things to say about that. I know the VA gets some bad rap every once in a while, but listen, I've never served, and the older that I get, the more respect and appreciation that I have for the men and women who do answer that call, who do choose to, dedicate their life and knowingly do that and are willing to sacrifice everything to serve and to protect this country and help keep this, help keep the United States where they are. I graduated with a degree in history, so I'm a history buff. I've been to France. I've been to the D-Day beaches. I've
Oh,
been
wow.
to the cemeteries there. And you know, I've been to Arlington. I've seen all these things, and the amount of respect. I am just, I'm humbled that there are people that are willing to answer that call and go and protect this great nation and risk it all. And I'm so thankful for a place like Fisher House Foundation that they are there to serve the people that do answer that call and the families of the people that answer that call when they are at one of their greatest needs. Last year, I'll be honest, Boogie, I was disappointed. It was a bummer that
Yep.
we didn't get there, you know, because like you, I thought, man, we got this. We're going, you know, to the moon. We're going to get these donations. This is an awesome cause. And then when we didn't, you know, we left it open. I thought, okay, well, maybe we'll kind of creep back up, and it never quite got there. And it really left you know, it just kind of impacted me. So this year I was like, yeah, I'm upping what I gave. You know, I've been blessed. Just got a promotion at work and all that. So, you know, I thought, man, I can not buy a bottle of rum next month. I can.
Oh, what? No, make
hold
a second.
Sacrifices.
Nobody said that. You can sacrifice elsewhere. Elsewhere.
But no. Listen. It's easy. It's easy to give up stuff like that because you got to think what these men and women are risking and giving up when they commit to serve this country. And you know, we're supporting a place that has their back and that will be there for them should something happen and it be, you know, one of the most trying times of their life when their family needs to be around them. You know, yeah, I'm getting choked up again. Those stories you shared at the beginning, the videos at the beginning, you know, when these people are in a trial and you know struggling, what's the most comfort to have around them is their family.
Yep.
And the Fisher House provides that opportunity. And man, I'm so excited and I love this too, man. Boogie, it is the most important, you know, night of the year for Talkin VAWLS. I love Tennessee football, but listen, guys, if we weren't in this wonderful country, if we didn't have the freedoms afforded by the men and women that protect and serve this country, you know, football's a little thing. Football's trivial. We're talking about the safety and protection of this great nation, and not getting into any political swings or anything like that. But it's just we need the military to protect and support this country, and to have a foundation like Fisher House to provide what they do for the men and women that are in the armed forces. It's amazing. So, yeah, I love tonight. I sat and watched the whole thing. What a great lineup. Thanks to everybody that came on tonight. Just amazing stuff. You know, from the top to the bottom. And Boogie, hats off to you for setting everything up, organizing it, lining it up, getting everybody on, and like Sports Talk Jay said, herding the cats. But so
sometimes
go,
I
man.
forgot to send some of the cats the link, like
That's
poor
all right.
Kyler.
But
It's all right.
I hope that was that was good wrapping it up and being the last one, because I'm stuck down here in the bottom right corner. But
No pressure. Does this make you feel better if I replace
hey,
it?
all right.
Should we go? Should we go by?
There you go.
Wait, should we go by? If we go by seniority, Coach Rice is at the bottom.
Seniority.
I think Matt's been here longer than Coach Rice. Like we going seniority. We going seniority. Hey, guess what? It's still It's still early. It's only 10 o'clock. The numbers are falling off, but I don't care. We're still going to talk a little Tennessee football. I told you guys, the Talkin VAWLS family, we're going to close out the night, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Let me catch up. John Mills, he said, Boogie, if you play the clip of Kentucky, I'll drop 25. He dropped another $25. We appreciate that donation. I hope I've done a good enough job on these donations. They're not coming through StreamYard. I'm trying to keep track on YouTube. Trey dropped another $50. Thank you, Trey. We appreciate that, brother. We got an anonymous $50 donation. Thank you for that. Dylan Elam drops $22. Thank you, Dylan. We appreciate the super chat. Coach Rice drops another $20. He was feeling guilty. He's like, I got to up my ante, I guess. Seth Patton drops a $50 donation. We appreciate that, my man. We got an anonymous $50 donation. Are we caught up? Yes, we're caught up right now. We're at $8,295. Thank you, guys. We're going to hit that $10,000 goal, whether it's tonight, whether it's tomorrow, whether it's in the next week. It's going to happen. If you're watching the replay and you've made it 3 hours, guess what? Y'all thought I flooded your Twitter timeline today? I'm going to destroy y'all tomorrow. I'm going to keep begging for donations because it ain't about Talkin VAWLS. It's about the donations for the Fisher. Yeah, did you turn them off? Did you block me today?
No, I kept showing. I said you're gonna make me turn them off. No, I'm good, man. I retweet everything for you.
I blocked somebody last night, but then I unblocked them. Shout out to all you NCAAers. Anyway, let's move it on ahead. I want to talk about expectations for 2024. I made a video on this earlier, but I thought this would be fun to talk about with you guys. Greg McElroy, he's a bammer. So he makes a lot of mistakes in this video. But let's take a listen to what Greg McElroy had to say about Tennessee. College football playoff chances, 15%. I'm going to pause this a couple of times and rail him, and then I'm going to get you guys talking, and then I'm going to go pee because I've been live for 3 hours. I got to take a piss. Y'all going to be able to talk about this, and then I'll come right back. Let's take a listen.
Can they beat Alabama and Georgia? I don't think they can.
I don't think they can. All of Alabama's team is gone. They've all hit the transfer portal. Nick Saban's gone. No way they're beating Alabama at Neyland Stadium. Did I say stadium? Let's hear more.
But every other game on their schedule, I think, is very winnable.
So Greg McElroy is saying 15% chance of making the college football playoff, but he basically just said you're only losing to Georgia and Alabama. That's 10-2. That's a college football playoff berth.
You go 10-2 in the SEC, you're going to the playoff.
So I don't know what Greg McElroy is smoking with this 15%. Let's hear more from this genius.
Mississippi State at their place, Kentucky at their place, at Oklahoma. I think they can take care of business in those games.
Oklahoma, the swing game. I think they take care of business. Still 15% odds. Let's hear more.
Really believe that. Those will be the kind of hinge games that could make Tennessee's season really special if they can win some of those games that are toss-ups. I think right now 8-4 is probably most likely.
I think they're going to beat everybody but Georgia and Alabama, but 8-4 is where I'm going to put them, is what Greg McElroy says. Let's hear more.
Likely. I think 9-3 is well within reach, but at 8-4, I think the percentage chance that they make the 12-team playoffs at about 15%.
This guy's math is not mathing to me.
He's doing Steiner math. He is doing Steiner math.
Wait.
Not mathing to me.
Wait. Is X talking about somebody's math?
Yeah,
this is true. This is true.
I've messed a couple of them up myself.
Hey, yeah, but no, not this bad. Sir, what are you saying, sir?
I don't know. X. I do have a quote from X. This is what he said.
And you have to not lose the game before you can ever win the game.
I mean, just about. Yeah,
that's true.
That's in my book.
That's true. Let's hear the rest of this from Greg McElroy, and then I'm going to go pee, and you guys can talk.
They get to 9-3. I would say that increases things significantly, but I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards 8-4 and a little less towards 9-3 at the moment. Granted, a lot of movement still going on with Tennessee, but I'm going to put their chances of making the playoff at 15% right now, and we'll finish.
This dude's a clown.
He thinks they can beat everybody on the schedule, but Georgia and Alabama. But yet they're going to go 8-4, and they've got 15% odds. Coach Rice, I can tell you're ready to talk about it. I'll be right back.
Boy, I was livid on Twitter, boy. Y'all trust me. I was wanting to send out a whole tweet and repost and share and retweet to X Factor and to Coach J and whoever else is on my Twitter or X account, whatever you want to call it, because this dude is out of his damn mind. If we're going 8-4, out of his damn mind, dude. Oklahoma, we're gonna beat them. Yes, I get it at Oklahoma, but they got a lot of changes going on. And I just think Coach Heupel's supposed to scheme up his best game he's ever schemed up, other than the Alabama game 2 years ago, or the year before last. And I just think between Oklahoma and we're beating Alabama, y'all, we're beating Alabama. But I was thinking it before Saban even retired, and by damn, we're beating them. And then Georgia, hey, it's up in the air. But
and Kentucky's at home, not on the road, by the way, McElroy.
Yeah.
It's at home.
Yeah, it's at
not
home.
on the road.
You can't listen to anything that goofball says. I mean, who's he work for? He works for ESPN.
Yeah.
We've been hearing it for years that ESPN thinks Tennessee sucks and everything. Boogie talked about earlier, are recruiting, everything, and here's more proof. Hey, Tennessee's gonna go 10-2, 11-1. He could suck on that. I had to stop.
I agree with you, Coach.
I had to stop for a second because I forgot as a family.
You're like, wait.
I do think the Oklahoma game is a swing game. If it was in Knoxville, if it was at Neyland, I would be way more confident in it. But being on the road, listen, what does this team struggle? They struggle to go on the road and win a big game.
Yeah.
So
and it's early too.
It's early. And
plus, like I said, with Josh Heupel going back to Oklahoma, how's he gonna feel? That's gonna be such a emotional game for him. I mean, don't be wrong. Like you all know that Josh Heupel's a gamer. He's gonna go in and take care of business. But I mean, just think, like, you're at your alma mater. Like, you won their last national championship. So, like, how do you control all these motions inside of you and still go out and coach a football game?
And Oklahoma's first SEC game too.
Their defense is an SEC caliber defense.
It's not, and it's a freshman quarterback too. I mean, it's the same situation we're in. We're in a better spot on a reload than they are. I mean, it's pretty simple. You can look at that way. And if you saw what their quarterback did in comparison to what Nico did, you can see that Nico's a way ahead. I think it's incredible. We're going to talk about this, I'm sure, but what Tennessee has coming back on the reinforcements and what they just reinforced on the offensive line.
Yeah.
With the running game of 2,500 yards plus the last 3 years, first time in school history, and you reloaded at wide receiver, but the offensive line to protect Nico, right? Because, I mean, in the game we saw, he ran for his life. Absolutely ran for his life, got hit a ton, got sacked 6 times, still scored 4 tutties, right? I mean, I think when you look at it,
makes it look easy.
Yeah, McElroy's he's a bammer, right? And that's what he's been his whole entire life. You can even the bias is even when he's on the SEC Network and the SEC Network games.
It's just all the Bama fans. Like I said, the Bama fans, they're scared, they're nervous, like they know this is a reality check. Like, listen, you was in the clouds, for the last almost decade or so. It's like, look, now it's time for you to come back to reality. Come back to, get used to winning about 7-8 games. I mean, we all know they're not going to be like total trash. I mean, it's not going to be like no 5, 10, 20 rebuild. But look, just be real. Like, look, you're back to earth now. It's okay. Get used to winning about 7 games. I mean, you might sneak into the playoffs here and there, but just get used to winning about 7 games.
But my point is, this team under Josh Heupel has struggled on the road in big games.
Yeah.
I think you can't count the LSU win on the road as a big game because that wasn't the LSU of the end of the season when they caught fire after we beat their tails and won out.
Still to go do it though, Dauber.
I know, but I do agree with what Matt said, though. I think we are in better shape than Oklahoma is going to be. But given the fact that it's on the road, I'm kind of prove it to me, guys.
Yeah, I'll tell you what
Nico,
go ahead, Dauber. Sorry. Yeah.
Well, no, and that's I know the the bowl game was a road game and all that, but
Neutral.
Iowa, man, and I said this going into the bowl game, and I know I missed post game and a little bit after that because I had the COVID and was sick and all that, but
Same here.
I don't think you can base the bowl game off of this season for Tennessee or Iowa. You couldn't look at the bowl game or predict how it was going to go because you had so many people opting out, transferring out, and all of that. It wasn't even the same teams. But I do like the things I saw in the bowl game, and the guys that they've brought in with the portal. They have this coaching staff. Man, I can't say enough about how they've evaluated talent and brought in guys to plug holes and fill needs. And we talked about it the last time I was on. Man, the swings and contacts for base hits or home runs that they've got of guys that they've brought in that have not just come in and played meaningful snaps, but have come in and impacted the game for this team. That's been crazy. Off the charts, man. I would, I don't know as much about other teams, but I would wager to say Tennessee has been that they have benefited from the transfer portal and the guys
100%.
coming in that have really impacted the wins and losses for the team more than anybody in the country. Because you look at the last 3 seasons worth of quarterbacks,
All portal guys.
all portal guys.
Portal guys.
Yeah.
So, the guys that have plugged holes on defense, because defense has been an issue, and everybody wants to dog on Tim Banks. They've improved year to year to year. And I think we'll just keep getting better because the dudes that they've got coming in
Are better.
Yeah.
And the last thing I'll say to kind of sum all this up is you've got continuity in the coaching staff, and this coaching staff has shown that they're going to coach up these guys, and these guys are going to get better. They're not going to come in and plateau and just kind of maintain where they are. They're going to increase their production. They're going to get better. You're going to have guys like Jalen Hite who come in and say, man, I'm better than this. I can do better, and dedicate themselves to getting better in the offseason, and then come out and ball out and be the best wide receiver in the country, be the best running back in the country.
Go ahead.
Coach
My
Rice.
bad. Well, one thing I'll say, like going off of what you were adding up to, the schedule and with the roster we have, and you were talking about the Oklahoma game earlier. Well, and it's on the road. Well, I see the road environment, and this is a poker analogy. I'm going to raise an SEC offensive line, SEC defensive line that we have all coming back. And they lost everybody, offensive line and defensive line. And we got everybody coming back. That's my race to why I think, personally, yes, Oklahoma's on the road. Yes, it's going to be something, maybe emotionally tested for Heupel. But at the end of the day, skill and players win games. And that's coaching strategy. And like I said earlier, I think Coach Heupel is going to deal up one of his best games ever against that Oklahoma game.
Well, we've seen him time and time again scheme up. Guys, what you look at what Hyatt did against Alabama.
Yeah.
How can you run wide open that many times against Alabama?
And think about it. Like I said, look, because the reason why we saw most of the schemes this past season was because of Joe. The coaching staff just did not trust Joe. Like I said, no disrespect to Joe, but they just didn't trust him. But now, like I said, this offseason through, like I said, fall and spring camp, you develop Nico. Like I said, make him make better, quarterback decisions and, better reads and stuff. And trust me, like we're gonna see him kind of like as a better, little bit of a, if not equal to Hendon Hooker. So it's
Better?
gonna be really
Dare we
fun.
say better?
Oh, hey,
I'll say
by
it.
the end of his
I'll
career,
say
I mean,
it.
I
He's got
look,
he's
hey,
got
yeah,
3 years
look,
under hype too.
yeah.
I'm
yeah,
in.
coach is with me. Yeah, coach is with me. Yeah, I mean, because like I said, from what we've seen from that Citrus Bowl, man, like the kid's a baller, man. Like I mean, it just gives him some time to grow and to develop, man. And trust me, like we're gonna see, it's like a creative, Madden player just out there. Like I said, Boogie, you should know. You know what I'm saying? You sitting there play, it's NCAA, like. But yeah, I mean, Nico's gonna be a baller,
Well, I
man.
mean,
So
you look at it. I can't remember if it's Dauber or who mentioned it earlier, but the Jackson Arnold kid in Oklahoma, 3 points, first game.
Yeah.
You go to the freshman at Ohio State, 3 points, first game.
Yep.
You go to
Good
the freshman
kids.
at Florida State, 3 points, first game. What?
Yep.
Granted, our defense pretty much supplied 14 of our 35 points. That Nico took us up and down the field with 4 second-string offensive linemen, guys.
Yep.
And without one of our starting beast wide receivers.
And we ran them off for 230 yards with 4 second-string
Yeah.
offensive linemen.
Exactly.
yeah.
And
Yeah, they also
Go ahead.
ran cover 3 all game. And
Exactly.
the one
Yeah.
play they didn't, Nico threw a perfect ball and our wide receiver
in the
stopped it.
bread basket.
Lost it in the
bread
sun or
basket.
whatever he did.
Yeah. I mean,
I think
it's Nico. Nico is going to be elite. And it may take, and I said this in the stream the other day, it may take 1 or 2 games to kind of get his feet wet, get back on. And that's why I love our early part of the schedule. Yes.
You got 3 of them to get ready, Coach
Yeah.
Rice.
Yep.
And I think it's just going to be, come SEC play, we're going to see a Heisman contender at quarterback for Tennessee.
Now,
yeah.
I may get blasted for this comment.
Oh boy, I can't wait.
All right, get ready to clip it. Get ready to clip it. Get ready.
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be good that Nico set all season on the sideline to watch and learn and see this offense, stand next to Heupel, and I guarantee you Heupel's talking to him in the game breakdown, watching the film, saying, okay, here, look at this. This is what I see. Because, man, listen, Hype's played that position. Hype. No, I think Milton had the upper hand because of the locker room and some, Swain talked about it earlier. There's things that happen in the locker room. There's, I think Milton had that confidence from the locker room, and I think Heupel didn't want to upset that. Nico was probably the better guy. Nico probably would have had maybe the same results. I don't know that he would have improved. The Florida game may have been a big difference, but Heupel had his reasons for playing Joe Milton this year. But I think it is going to be a benefit that Nico was on the sideline watching, learning, seeing the system, seeing the schemes, and seeing how Heupel thinks things up in his offense. And, man, I think it's, the sky's the limit for this kid. You saw what I liked was when the pocket breaks down, he doesn't panic. It is not first run and scramble. His eyes are still downfield. He's still looking to make a play. I go back to the orange and white game and that pass to Ethan Davis.
Yep.
When Davis got hurt, man, that was when I thought, man, this kid is going to be electric. And then, we have the bowl game and we see Nico come in and run this offense. And it was at a different clip. It was at a different speed. And I think that's where this offense needs to be ran. It's not a look to the sideline, check with me, because that kind of stalled and slowed things out. It's not necessarily the tempo that Heupel likes. It's spreading the defense out. It's setting up a couple plays down the line And I think Nico gives you that luxury. Milton didn't, because he couldn't come to the line, read the defense, and check out of something, or it was, okay, I'm at the line. Okay, now what do we do, coach? And Nico's going to come to the line, and he's going to, okay, all right, we're going. And Cooper Mays, the first 2 games of the season, you saw how slow the offense ran without Cooper Mays. I think that's another key cog that is going to be, just another win. And Coach Rice talked about the offensive line. They're all experienced. And that's something that, man, when you talk about SEC football, it's in the trenches, man. It's offensive line, defensive line, and we do have that experience on both sides of the ball, and it's exciting. So I can't wait to see how this unfolds, and I do think to sum all that up, I think that Nico, although we all wanted to see him before we saw him, I think being on the sidelines, taking a year in, maybe wasn't for the worst, because that could turn 2024 into something special.
Amen.
Yeah.
You mentioned something too, Dauber, and I want to pounce on that too. The experience of the trenches with getting all the guys to come back on the defensive line and the offensive line just make this team so much better. You got to argue that we have one of the best offensive lines, not in just the SEC, but in the entire country. If they could figure out left guard, which whether that's internal or transfer portal, there's options there. But your bookend tackles are there. You've got Coop and Sprague back in the middle, and you got on the defensive line, you replace Tyler Barron, but that's it. I mean, Roman Harrison being gone, upgrade, right? With who's coming in, whether it's Joseph's, Herring, whoever it is, you got to think that the defensive line is going to be better and better and better. And when you go into the Oklahoma game, Oklahoma does not have the atmosphere that a true SEC road game environment will be. And these guys have played in much, much tougher atmospheres, right? And they're a year older, a year more experienced. And you talk about, will hype take it personal too? The team's going to take it personal as well, right? They take the leadership of their coach, and going back and beating OU would be the hell of a way to start the season, undefeated September.
Big time.
Isn't it a beautiful story, Coach Jay, that the game, when we look at the schedule, the game that I am labeling as the turning point is hype the guy or not. It's Oklahoma on the road. The story tells itself, man. If that doesn't excite you, Coach Jay, you don't have a soul. You don't have a soul.
Yeah, it's you couldn't write it any better, no doubt about it. And it's a big moment, right? It's going to be like a Heupel quarterback protege in there, right? And we all know this is Heupel's offense. We can talk about, Goalish or Halsey all we want, but this has been and always will be Heupel's offense for as long as he's here, right? So it's going to be his protege. He's going to come ready and well prepared, and Nico is well suited to play in a hostile environment with how calm he is. And I do think you'll see great tempo. Talk on what Dauber was talking about for a second. And Coach Rice can probably back me up here. At least when I'm facing an offense, if they're a team who wants to go fast or kind of pretend to go fast, it's one thing. When you're truly going fast, it's another thing entirely. And I'll tell you what, when you go in to check with me and slow it down, think about baseball. When is a changeup or a curveball harder to hit? It's when that fastball is elite, right? It's when they can bring 102 mile per hour smoke that 82 mile per hour changeup is dangerous. And the same can be true for a really fast offense because, as a defensive player, you can get stuck in your reads, and like you're reading your keys or reading a foot or reading a guard step or whatever it may be. And the offense is going so fast, you're just trying to keep up and do everything so quick. And then they slow it down. And it's almost like, well, what are they doing? What play is this? Is this a trap? Is this a sweep? Is this a reverse? Are they throwing it deep? It's almost like your mind will start beating you because you work really quick. And it can be difficult. So I guess what I'm saying is I think the changeup is going to be more dangerous under Tennessee next year as well. It's not just going to be the fastball that's dangerous. I think the changeup's going to be better as well. And also with Nico, hey, I've said it a couple times. You're not going to see the same Nico you saw in that Citrus Bowl. That kid has gotten better every time I've seen him since the first time I've seen him. And that time was amazing. It might be the only high school quarterback that I've walked into a game and he's thrown 5 touchdowns and 400 yards, and then the halftime buzzer rang. So that's nuts, man. Like, I don't know what to tell you guys.
Can we take a quick break from football for a second?
Yeah.
Don't mind?
Yeah. Take it. Go.
Y'all got anything going on? Y'all busy?
No, I can brag about Nico anytime I want, Boogie.
Because we got a leaderboard around here. And we talk about single donations, and this person has done it tonight. Not tonight, last night, tonight. I opened up the super chat window. But I'm going to count it because it's not one donation, but it's one person doing this. So we're going to count it. We got a new record around here, boys. Michelle Emmons has donated $2,480 to this charity.
Thank you so
when we
much.
go look at the donations,
Thank
Charles donated
Thank you.
$20. We are grateful for $20. We appreciate that, Charles. Thank you for the donation. And then Michelle follows that up. It drives me nuts. It keeps refreshing. She donated $680, but she has donated over and over and over again all night tonight, also last night. The grand total is $2,480. Where's James Moody? Somebody tell James Moody that he has been dethroned, because the all-time single donation is now $2,480. Michelle getting in where she fits in. She's a lurker. She doesn't speak.
Yeah.
She only speaks through super chats. Like NCAA nights, we need the game. She drops super chat. She wants to buy a player. She drops a super chat. Thank you, Michelle. It is insane. We are at $9,000 for the night. $9,000. Do y'all understand? You understand that we did this together,
awesome.
and I appreciate everybody that came on. Volquest, Go Vols 247, Swain Event, AtoZ Sports, Pancakes and Bacon, everybody, Sports Talk Jay. It was a community effort, but guess whose platform it was on? It was on the fans' platform. Not my platform, not Dauber's platform, not Coach Jay, not X, not Matt, not Coach Rice. It's not our platform. It's your platform. The fans have taken over the media. We've taken over the media. You guys have created this platform because for whatever reason, you believe in us. You believe in what we do. You believe in what we do. And look, I love what Kyler and Reed do. I love it. Like I love that they have played college football at the elite level. I love what Volquest does. I think they're the best of the best when it comes to, recruiting and inside information. But guess who's got the biggest platform? The fans. You guys. You own this platform. That's what it's all about. $9,000 on your backs. On your backs. Not mine, not ours, not us. Your backs. We got to wrap it up. We've been live for 3.5 hours. Here's what's going to happen. The link is going to stay open. Guys can come and watch the replay. You guys can come rewatch it. Share it out. Like, go reshare it. Go quote tweet it. If you're on Twitter, go quote tweet it and say, this was an amazing stream. They are $1,000 away from 10K. Go donate. Go support. Go support what Talkin VAWLS was trying to do. Share this thing out. I think we can get there. I think we're going to raise another $1,000 in the next week or so. I think I've got it open for 5 days after today.
We raised 1,000 before the show started. So we can raise 1,000 after it ends.
Especially if people watch this. I mean, such a great show, Boogie. And hats off to you, my friend, for putting this together.
Yeah, MVP. Congrats.
You should have the Pearl Harbor quote. There's nothing stronger than the heart of a volunteer lined up. The little clip from the movie.
Why didn't you tell me that 3 hours and 30 minutes ago?
although Boogie, we need $1 million man quote for Michelle. We need a Ric Flair for Michelle. You got to drop a little something.
I'll run through all of them. This is go ahead, Dauber, and then I'm gonna tell y'all what I think of Michelle.
I was just gonna say, you threw up the schedule when the AtoZ sports guys were on there.
I'm not always prepared like that.
I know.
Kyler didn't have the link. Swain didn't have the link.
So this past season, we were talking about, I think it was Orange October or whatever. Listen, I broke it down. It's going to be Orange August because we got UTC. We're going to beat them in August. September, we got NC State, Kent State, at Oklahoma. Orange September. So undefeated going into August or October. At Arkansas, Florida, and Bama. I think it's Orange October. You undefeated going to November? I think so. And you got UK, Mississippi State, at Georgia, UTEP, and Vandy. Boys, I like the way this schedule shapes up. We talked about it when Boogie was in the bathroom.
You know what I was doing? I was talking to my wife, and it like how happy I was, how proud I was of what we've done here tonight. And she was like, after like 10 minutes, she's like, "You do realize that they're still live down there, right?"
We got it.
I was like, "They're fine." I was like, "I've been live for 3 hours. The least they can do is take care of me for 10 minutes."
Yeah, we got you.
I think you got Dauber. You got to love the fact that this schedule on the crossover gives you Mississippi State and Arkansas.
Big time.
And both of those teams are in shambles.
Yeah.
I mean, just shambles. And Napier's fighting for his life. Saban retired, and Bama's went with him, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're Kentucky's daddy. You've been Kentucky's daddy forever and ever and ever. You always will. Vanderbilt doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
You've got three or four easy wins on the outside. NC State on a neutral site.
Yeah.
I mean, Georgia.
Georgia's the game is Georgia. That's the one that's kind of like, it is what it is. You take your one loss there. But yeah, I love how the schedule shapes up for us.
You go 10-2, you're in, right? You're in.
And I love the bye weeks where they're at too. The bye weeks are huge.
Oh, the bye weeks are clutch.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about you guys coaching football. You don't get those bye weeks early and late. They're always either in the middle or early or late. You've got 6 or 7 games in a row. They don't have more than 4 games in a row before a bye. The whole season.
So clutch.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look, we got all kinds of fun content coming your way. Guess what's going to happen on Sunday? I got myself in some trouble, boys. I ran my mouth. I talked some trash to Jamal Wallace. And then people said, have you ever watched him play Madden, Boogie? And I said, nope. And they said, he's pretty damn good. And I've played 3 games of Madden in about the last 5 years. I don't even own it right now, but I'm going to go download it on the PS5, and I'm going to train. I'm going to be like Rocky in Russia. We're going to go to work, and we're going to prove to you that Jamal Wallace is just a man. He is just a man. But Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Boogie Bentley of the Talkin VAWLS Network going head-to-head with Tennessee defensive lineman Jamal Wallace on John Madden football. And I think I'm in trouble. But you guys can come hang out and enjoy the trash talk. It's going to be – I can't wait, man. I talked a little trash. Jamal said, you don't want the smoke. I said, I want all the smoke.
Coach Rice, script him the first 10 plays on offense, and I'll script him the first 10 on D.
And Boogie, hold on. I said, are you going to pick your Washington Commanders since you used to
No. I have a feeling that Jamal is going with the Chiefs because he's a Kansas City kid. He loves the Chiefs. I'm going to pick off of him. So does that mean the Eagles? I don't know. We're going to find out. I'm going to get destroyed. So if you want to see me get embarrassed and you want to tell jokes and make fun of me, show up Sunday night. Tuesday night, I'm going to beat the piss out of the computer on NCAA football. I'm going to get revenge. We're starting year 3 on NCAA Revamped. Come hang out for that. Wednesday night, I've not even talked to the coaches, but I think we're scheduled for a certain film breakdown head-to-head live. Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Coach Rice, got to pick an offensive player in the state of Tennessee. Coach Jay, got to pick a defensive player in the state of Tennessee. We're going to do a live film breakdown, and you guys are going to vote which one of these guys gets a Nico, the Chosen One shirt. The other one, is going to go homeless. He ain't getting a free shirt. He ain't getting a free shirt. They're both repping Talkin VAWLS merch. That's going to be Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. After that, who knows? Get in where you fit in. We got to do a watch party. That's where X shines. Whether it's basketball, whether it's the NFL draft, me and X going to jump on, and we're going to talk about Batman. We're going to talk about Spider-Man and all of our favorite comic books, because that's what we do on the watch parties. Tons of content coming your way. Get in where you fit in. Subscribe, like, smash the thumbs up, all that good stuff. Let people know to come check this stream out. I'm not even looking. I think we're about $1,000 away.
91.10 is where we're at.
Wow.
90. So we're less than $900 away. We're going to hit 10 grand. I appreciate you guys.
We got it.
I love you guys. Yes, a lot of work went into this, but this doesn't happen without you. You guys have the voice. You guys are the reason that Volquest is showing up, that GoVols 247 showing up, that Pancakes and Bacon, AtoZ Sports. You're the reason why. So thank you. We appreciate you. I'm going to play all the clips from Michelle, and then I'm going to play the highlight video and give you guys – look at some of the pictures in this video, and this is why we do what we do. Here's the clips.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man. To be the man, you gotta beat the man. And I'm saying, woo, right here. Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Heart is a balloon, shoots up through the stony ground. There's no room, no space to rent in this town. You're out of luck, and the reason that you had to care, the traffic is stuck, and you're not moving anywhere. You thought you found a friend to take you out of this place, someone you could lend a hand in return for grace. So beautiful.